O'clock news, I'm Kendall Brettig. 5 people, including the gunman, have been killed in a shooting in the US. At least 8 more, including 2 policemen, are in hospital after a man opened fire inside a bank he used to work at in Kentucky. Kentucky Mayor Craig Greenberg has thanked the officers who put themselves in the firing line to stop the shooter.
And I want to thank all of the first responders, the brave and heroic men and women of LMPD, who, thanks to their efforts, quickly responded to the emergency call. Without a doubt, their actions saved lives.
Some changes to gender-specific terms in state parliament are on the way. The Advertiser's reporting they'll be removed from the rules of procedure affecting the Premier, the Governor and even King Charles. Terms like His Majesty will be replaced with the Sovereign under gender-neutral changes. John Hartley's school students will have a few extra days off this week after fire tore through classrooms over the weekend. Police are investigating the suspicious blaze, which has left a damage bill of more than $1 million at the Smithfield Plains School. While Australian students have a strong academic average, some are struggling under the radar. More from Jessica Clancy.
Children who come from poorer families, live in the bush or are Indigenous are 3 times more likely to fall behind at school. The latest OECD report reveals while 95% of students nationwide meet NAPLAN reading and numeracy standards, that number drops to 80% in the Northern Territory. The results suggest while the country performs well when compared with other OECD nations, a strong academic average may be masking varied results across states and territories.
A potential Category 4 cyclone's brewing off WA's northwest. Cyclone Isla is expected to bring strong winds upwards of 200 kilometres an hour. It's predicted to make landfall near 80 Mile Beach later this week. Police vehicles in Northern Ireland have been pelted with petrol bombs as the territory marks 25 years since the Good Friday Agreement. An illegal dissident Republican march has been staged in Londonderry. No one has been injured. Researchers want Australians who don't have a family history of Parkinson's disease to participate in a study of genetic codes. The disease is on track to surpass 12 million cases worldwide by 2040. Shake It Up Chief Executive Clyde Campbell says they're asking for saliva samples to track different genome sequences and find better treatment options for patients.
What we're finding is there's different cohorts of people with Parkinson's. No one gets their own one single type of Parkinson's. It's a very multifaceted disease. And what we've found in previous trials is that, say, 30% of patients have had a good result with a certain treatment, 40% had mediocre and 30% had no result.
And Oscar winner Hilary Swank is a mum to twins. The 48-year-old has announced she and husband Philip Schneider have welcomed a boy and a girl. Now turning to FIVEAA Sport.
It's nearly tax time. Act now for immediate delivery on Mitsubishi Triton from Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth.
Here's Tom Rand.
Thank you, Kendall. The AFL is investigating another case of racist comments, this time remarks directed towards Adelaide forward Isaac Rankin on social media. Crows coach Matthew Nick says racism shouldn't be tolerated.
It's an intention here to hurt someone. To have an account set up where it can't be traced, it's not a real person, in my opinion, and it's disgraceful. But we'll do whatever we can from here to support Isaac.
The Crows will host Carlton on Thursday night to kickstart Gather Round, while Round 4 wrapped up yesterday with reigning premiers Geelong finally getting their first win of the season, smashing Hawthorn by 82 points at the MCG. To soccer, Melbourne City's taken a big step towards another Premier's Plate after securing a comprehensive 4-1 win against Wellington in the A-League. The result means City is now 7 points clear of second-placed Adelaide United, with only 3 regular season games left. One game in the NRL to wrap up round 6, with the Parramatta Eels securing a 28 to 22 point win against the winless West Tigers. A great start for the Aussies at the Monte Carlo Masters, with straight sets wins for both Alexi Poprin and Alex de Minaur. Aussie surfers Steph Gilmore, Tyler Wright, Isabella Nichols and Molly Picklum are all into the women's quarterfinals at Bells Beach. And NFL star Odell Beckham Jr. has agreed on a 1-year contract with Baltimore. The wide receiver hasn't played since injuring his knee in last year's Super Bowl. And that's the FIVEAA Sport.
Now the FIVEAA forecast.
Kick-off footy festival with Maccas, official partners for the AFL Gather Round. I'm loving it.
Showers developing this afternoon, heading for 24. A shower or two tomorrow, 20. Partly cloudy Thursday, 22. And mostly sunny Friday, 25. At the moment, 15. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Test drive the incredible Cherry Motor 5 today at Cherry Glen Osmond from 33k drive away. Go Cherry.
6 after 6, good morning to you. Welcome to Tuesday on 5AA Breakfast. It's the 11th of April. It's Gather Round Week in Adelaide. You're going to hear us talking a lot about that over the next 4 days. And we're going to be sending a lot of 5AA listeners off to Gather Round. We have tickets galore to give away today, tomorrow, the next day, to each of the games, to the 5AA locker room, to one hell of an experience. Every hour of the program, we're going to set off groups of people, every single hour of the program this week to games across Gather Round. If you're a Crows fan, you're going to want to be listening today, because today's when we've got Crows Carlton tickets. Carlton fans too. Maybe you've just come into Adelaide. You're going to spend the week here. Whatever your plans are, we've got you covered tickets-wise for the rest of the week, so make sure you stay listening. We'll have more information about how you can win very, very shortly. Also on the program today, we're off to the UK. Edward Godfrey for 9 News will join us to talk about the build-up to the Coronation. We're less than a month away now from the Coronation that's taking place on the 6th of May. After 7 o'clock, Phil Curry. Tom Duday will join us in the 5AA Breakfast studio. We've got Lucy's movie review a little bit later. We're going to try and catch up with some of the mayors too, who are busily putting into place the final preparations for Gather Round in Nord and at Mount Barker as well. David Penberthy, good morning to you.
Good morning, listeners. Good morning, Will. What a great weekend for both our football clubs, but what a week this is going to be for South Australia. Let the madness begin. It begins only in a couple of days' time. And these tickets that we're giving away, just to stress folks, we are the official radio station of Gather Round, are we not? I choose to think that we are.
I mean, who's the great Gather Round God in the sky? Who makes that determination?
We're certainly not one of those.
We just did.
That's exactly what we've done, and we're going to run with it all week. And we're certainly not one of those radio stations that's going to be devoting hours to talking about, whether we need FOIs to get to the bottom of exactly how much money was spent. I mean, all that is in the public interest. But, I reckon overwhelmingly South Australians think that this is a good thing for the state. And it's not like we've funded the Gather Round by removing children from dialysis machines. It's standalone money that's there.
We took ambulances off the road for this.
Well, after those figures the other day, who knows? It's still a massive issue that the government's got to fix. But, government/communities need to be able to walk and chew gum at the same time. And I've got to say, I was talking to mates over the weekend. You can tell the old mobile phone is a good indicator of interest levels. It's like when you're watching a footy match or a news event happens and you get text suddenly from mates going, "Oh my God, have you heard about this?" So it can be a bellwether of a negative story or a negative event. But since about last Wednesday, I've been getting a text a day from mates in Melbourne, Sydney and Canberra going, "Hey mate, this Gather Round thing, what's the go? Thinking of coming over. And can you get me tickets?"
Yeah.
I've had 5 mates ask if I can get them tickets for Adelaide Carlton. The answer to which is no, I'm not Ticketek. Sort it out yourself. Well, maybe they can enter today. Good luck. Good luck getting through.
You've got to be good.
But the numbers are staggering.
Yeah, it's bigger than I thought it would be.
Same. It caught me by surprise a bit. And even reading about things like, they've dropped in a 3-storey media centre at Mount Barker Oval. 3 years ago, that thing was a paddock. And now they've got a 3-storey media centre. They've got drop-in change rooms for the umps. There's going to be 8,000 people there. The biggest crowd they've ever had at Mount Barker Oval is 1,000. Norwood's now got full lap lighting for the advertising hoardings. It's got the best LED lights for night footy in the SANFL. They're going to have, I think, 10,500 for the 2 games they're hosting. And then the Adelaide Oval, it's going to be chock-a-block.
On reflection, the best bit of planning that went into this was the idea of having it coming out of the Easter long weekend. The idea that you're starting football on a Thursday, which is now becoming largely the normal, but having a football festival in one town for 4 days, coming in the middle of a 4-day week, was brilliant. Because a lot of people take Easter and then, as opposed to taking last week off in the build-up to it, which is often what people do to make it extended sort of a 10-day period, You can take the second half and spend it in Adelaide coming here. I think that's the brilliant. That's what's facilitated the ability for people to fly in, to spend time here, not just to go to their team's game and disappear. It's this, we've essentially bought the second half of what a lot of people could consider their Easter holidays.
Yeah. Well, I think the Fremantle Dockers are still here. They haven't gone home. They're hanging around. Why would you? So a lot of the teams are going to fly in early. I reckon people will be, you'll be walking down the street and suddenly, hang on, isn't that Scott Pendlebury? Like, people are going to see a lot of the players. You know what? And good luck if you've got friends coming here. Get ready for them to sleep on your couch because you're not finding a hotel this weekend.
No, everything's sold out completely.
So what is it? 4 games are sold out, or is it more than that now?
Well, certainly Thursday night is sold out.
I think there's 4 that are sold out. I think Richmond Sydney sold out. Friday night's game.
Do you know what I'm looking forward to?
And St Kilda and Collingwood, which on form is probably going to be the game of the round, you'd think.
Absolutely. The thing that I'm looking forward to that we haven't had since the heyday of the SAMFL in South Australia, since before really Adelaide went into the AFL, was everyone's playing at. There's a lot of teams playing at the same time, and the city is full of people walking around in their scarves. Melbourne gets this all the time because they'll always have 2 games on at the same time, on the same day, or 3 games across the day, whatever it might well be. So you get on a tram and there's either people coming to a game or going from it, and so on and so forth. We're having a double header. We're going to have multiple occasions on the weekend where 4 different groups of supporter bases are all going to be knocking around the city together, which will be great. We don't get that very often these days.
Yeah,
it'll be nice. 12 after 6.
Tell us if you're going, folks. What are your gather round plans? I was talking to my mother-in-law's next door neighbour on the weekend. He said he got some of those tickets where you can get to go 3 games for $30.
Oh, that's good.
He's going to 3 matches. He's super stoked about it. It's going to be good.
8223 the number. You can text us on the Dutton's text line as well for the brand new GWM Tank 4x4 Hybrid. Dutton's easy to do business with. The number 0448 08 1395.
Adelaide Direct Stationers is more than just stationery. We're one of SA's largest suppliers of tech products, washroom products, PPE, workplace health and safety equipment, office furniture, food, snacks, beverages and much more. We have all your office and business needs in one place, with free next day delivery on orders over $50, plus same day 2-hour express delivery. Adelaide Direct Stationers, serving SA's largest businesses and a preferred government supplier. Visit AdelaideDirectStationers.com.au.
This is an invitation to live your best life at 88 O'Connell, where luxury and well-being meet in perfect harmony. Join us for free morning tea on the 19th and 26th of April. Learn more about 88's world-class amenities, including stunning pools, state-of-the-art gym, on-site allied health services like medical, physio, pharmacy, beauty, and more. This is the life. Collect your free gift on arrival. Hurry, spots are limited. Book now for morning tea at 88o'connell.com.
Now, Will, just bear with me because I am...
well, let's talk about Fast Movers SA.
They
recognise the most innovative, smartest and fastest growing South Australian businesses. At FIVEAA, we love celebrating South Australian businesses, and that's exactly what the Fast Movers SA competition does, recognising South Australia's fastest growing, most innovative and arguably smartest businesses.
About time they got the recognition that they deserve. This is a great idea. The top 25 fastest moving businesses in SA, they're going to be announced at a special breakfast event held at the Adelaide Oval on Thursday, May 26.
This event provides the perfect opportunity to celebrate with your team and the South Australian business community. For all the details and tickets, visit fastmoverssa.com.au. Proudly supported by 1395 Adelaide's FIVEAA.
Hey, you in the car. If your next service is due, just remember that Mawson Lakes Mazda has your back. We'll take care of you with next day servicing, complimentary loan car, vacuum and wash, and your breakfast or lunch is on us. Your car gets the love too, with our state-of-the-art service centre brimming with top-trained mechanics. At Mawson Lakes Mazda, we'll look after your car and look after you. Mawson Lakes Mazda, just a short drive from the city.
New Zealand, spectacular, safe and friendly. The perfect destination for a magical getaway. Right now, Holiday Wonders Mitcham have an exclusive 17-day fully inclusive package. It's our best deal ever. Save up to $980 per couple. Fly direct from Adelaide with Air New Zealand, touring North and South Islands with meals, accommodation and so much included, with more highlights than any comparable New Zealand holiday. Call now or visit holidaywonders.com.au. Holiday Wonders, Belair Road, Mitcham.
9 News is made in Adelaide for Adelaide.
And has been since 1959.
I'm Kate Collins.
And I'm Brenton Raglas. Join us for 9 News tonight at 6.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
The Cherry Motor 5 offers state-of-the-art driving from 33k drive away. Visit Cherry Glen Osmond.
16 after 6. News headlines on this Tuesday, the 11th of April. Some changes to gender-specific terms in state parliament are on the way. The Advertiser reporting this morning that terms will be removed from the rules of procedure affecting the Premier, the Governor and even King Charles. Under the gender-neutral terms, changes terms like His Majesty will be replaced with the Sovereign, and Governor Francis Adamson will be referred to as the Governor rather than Her Excellency.
Well, good to see you know what, I'm wasting time on small things, isn't it?
I'm glad they got to this.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
thank God.
Everything else is going well. We mentioned ambulance ramping before, and everyone can get a hospital bed the moment they want one, and the education standards have never been higher. There's no problems with kids failing NAPLAN. There's no problems with low literacy levels. All the roads have been fixed. So why not? Get down to the brass tacks. What a joke!
Completely.
See, the great irony of these things is they are done by progressive people and they make the rest of the community less progressive, because open-minded people like you and I hear it and go, what a pile of crap.
Australian children who come from poorer families, live in the bush or are Indigenous are 3 times more likely to fall behind at school. A new report reveals while Australia might have nationally strong academic results, some groups are struggling under the radar. It showed 95% of students nationwide meet NAPLAN reading and numeracy standards, but that drops to 80% in the Northern Territory. Sad story to the US, but not a surprising one. 5 people, including the gunman, have been killed in a mass shooting. At least 8 more, including 2 policemen, are in hospital after a man opened fire inside a Kentucky bank that he used to work at. Kentucky Mayor Craig Greenberg has thanked the officers who put themselves in the firing line to stop the shooter.
And I want to thank all of the first responders, the brave and heroic men and women of LMPD, who, thanks to their efforts, quickly responded to the emergency call. Without a doubt, their actions saved lives.
2 of them are related to 2 of the victims are related to the Kentucky governor, Andy Beshear, who broke down while he was talking about it overnight. Terrible.
This was an odd story, I thought, the Tiser this morning. It seems rare butterflies are under threat because of the Adelaide 500 Supercars race spectator parking. The butterflies are at the centre of a vote for council today. The southern end of the Victoria Park race circuit used for parking already includes a fenced-off area to safeguard them. But this is the quintessential Adelaide City Council story. So they're voting on the fact that they want to protect a colony of rare butterflies. Can I just read you, I don't know how many paragraphs in, it's about 5. Butterfly Conservation SA Chairman Jerry Butler said his group supported the reduction in the race circuit's footprint. But he also said monitoring since 2011 had shown the race had not impacted on the butterfly population. Why is this a thing we're talking about?
Well, I'd go further than that. Maybe what we've actually discovered here is a redhead butterfly population, because quite clearly these rare butterflies, they've only turned up since the V8s were here.
We should expand the race.
Well, we should get more cars.
More cars,
and
more
car parking. Yeah, and we absolutely won't be able to move for them. They'll be like the Wanderer butterfly. They'll be everywhere. But
doesn't it feel like the City Council, whose views we are well known about what they think of the Adelaide 500, are desperate to seek out any opportunity to reduce its size, footprint, scale, and so forth. So now they've got a non-endangered series of butterflies. Well, I mean, no, it hasn't had any demonstrable effect, but I mean, we can't be too careful.
That's right. Do we really want a situation to persist where this butterfly can make its annual pilgrimage to the parklands completely unharmed by the motor race, I ask you? It's really pathetic, isn't it?
Oh, it's unbelievable. I laughed so hard reading that this morning. Didn't laugh at this one out of the weekend. Some of the vision it's frightening to see, albeit it's all simulated. But China has simulated precision strikes against Taiwan on its third and final day of military exercises. State media aired footage of the Navy conducting live fire drills at sea. Beijing says the operations are a stern warning for the self-governed island. Did you see the images on...
Quite the charm offensive, isn't it?
Oh, that state-owned TV in China of, the sort of standard 6 p.m. news fare, but with the graphic showing all the hundreds of missiles going from mainland China and indeed from vessels in the Straits hitting Taiwan.
Yeah, Beijing seems to think that they'll be walking with open arms by the Taiwanese people. It'll be seen as a sort of reunification, which is actually a total fallacy in a historical sense, because it was never actually mainland China to start with. Taiwan, it was the place where the nationalists went after the revolution, wasn't it? Chiang Kai-shek was the leader of the nationalists. Mao Zedong was the leader of the communists.
I think you'll find there are a lot of places China considers traditional territory where the people live there have a very different view.
Very much so.
Top of 24 today and up to 6 mils of rain. Right now it's 14.4 outside. Rain a bit of a theme for the early part of this week. Tomorrow 20 and up to 6 mils of rain. Thursday 22 and a bit of a drizzle. Friday 25 and a drizzle. Saturday 23. How about this? Up to 20 mils of rain.
Yeah.
Could be wet for the doubleheader, the first of them.
Yeah. We don't want that. Friday's looking good, weather-wise.
Friday looks lovely. 25, just maybe a mil of rain.
But there's going to be people wanting to... we're going to have the zip line over the Torrens. We're going to have people wanting to go up to wineries and so on. Come on, Mother Nature. Great text on the Duttons text line, Mark in Para Hills. Fine the racist bastards, ban them for life. All leagues, AFL, SANFL. We don't need these idiots. Nixie is right. They are not people. That's from Mark in Para Hills in relation, obviously, to the appalling slur.
Do you think we've got
Isaac
the
Rankin?
So the person who said something horrible to Isaac Rankin was account created with 0 followers. So it was designed specifically to do this.
Yeah.
And to get this response. I think now too. I don't know how you say to Isaac Rankin, "Hey, we're going to leave this one alone."
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
That's the hard bit.
I agree.
But I think if we're all AIs and we're dealing with this in a way that was just about the most efficient way to stop this behaviour, I think not broadcasting it is the best way to do it, because I think it's too easy for any moron to start up an account.
Yes.
With the view to being, watch this, I'll be in the news for a week.
That's true, but you yourself identified the weakness in that argument, Will, which is it's the balls in Isaac Rankin's court or the court of any black person who, when it's said to them, like, I'm sure some of them do go, oh, yeah, whatever, some fake account. But behind every fake account is a real person with real problems.
A real person who we've never found, I'm yet, and please correct me if I'm wrong here, that we've not shown any capacity to identify. Has a single one of these people ever been identified that's created a fake account to say something horrible?
Well, I mean, we've had situations where we've had people real people sitting in the crowd screaming real racist stuff, and they can't get found either.
Yeah, this is just
good luck in cyberspace.
Yeah, I don't like any of the options, but I just feel it just doesn't feel like to me right now we're dealing with it in the best possible way. Great text though, Mark. Thank you. More coming from the Duttons text line. We'll get to those in a moment. You can call us too, of course, on 8223 0000. Tom Wren is in the 5AA Breakfast studio with his winners and losers. It being Tuesday after a long weekend. It's nearly tax time. Act now for immediate delivery on Mitsubishi Triton from Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth. Morning to you, Rennie.
Morning, Will. Morning, David. Yeah, winners and losers. We'll start there. You've gone through it and we don't want to give it too much more oxygen. But yes, that racist person absolutely is our big loser from the weekend, no doubt about that. Winners, though, let's start with a bit of a positive.
Where do you start?
Well, exactly. I'm going to bracket them together. Crows and Port, isn't it great to have a weekend where both sides win? We'll start with the Crows. They were just sensational. David, I saw you just before that match started, and I think we were a bit unsure how they would go, but They dominated that match from start to finish. Fremantle were flat, but the Crows were outstanding, and they belted them. They absolutely ran them off their feet.
That was good.
And it was comprehensive, and it was just a good, solid win. So I was really impressed with Adelaide, start to finish. Jordan Dawson continues to lead the way magnificently. He was brilliant. Brodie Smith had his best game for the year. The midfield were great. Jake Saligo was outstanding again. Tex Walker was fantastic. Rankin.
Tex's best game of the year by a long stretch.
Yep.
A great game.
Rankin's got 11
goals. It felt like
goals.
the first time the young guys and the old guys both clicked.
Yeah, it was all played well.
Everyone was on.
It was Scott Camperelli after the match struggled to give the 3-2-1 because there were probably 8 or 9 that could have hit the votes, which was a nice problem to have. And they've got selection issues this week, which is a great position to be in for the first time in a long time. Port, I mean, Jeremy Finlayson, what he has been through personally with his wife Kelly, and for him
touching
to kick the winning goal, and then for the match to unfold the way it did, and the week that they'd had. Huge result for Port Adelaide. So they were big winners.
I think
from the weekend.
even Hinckley's knockers, and there's plenty of them, would have to give the bloke credit for showing character under great pressure. Like, he would have had one of the toughest weeks of his life last week, that bloke. And frankly, he was 5 centimetres away from having another one.
And you saw the reaction after the game as well. I mean, if a team's genuinely not playing for you, they could easily turn their toes up.
That's the thing that's always saved Ken Hinkley. I watched the first 5 minutes of that game. It was clear that those guys were trying. Now, I thought they were going to get rolled, and trying wasn't going to get them there. But they play for him. They always have. They love him. They love the guy. It makes it hard as a board and as an entity at that club to go, we don't think he's the right bloke. Well, because the players all do. And to be fair to him, he made an adjustment during that game that he protected that back six by making it into a really ugly game. They were the most scored against side in the competition, and suddenly Sydney couldn't penetrate them. And it made for not a pretty contest, but they got the right result. And that was a coaching decision.
And if they can win this week, you'd take 3 and 2 every day of the week with the start they had. 3 of the 4 prelim finalists in the opening 5 weeks. Other winners, John Rahm, well done, US Masters, 4th Spaniard, world number 1 again. He was brilliant. But we get 2 of the live golfers who finished runner-up, Brooks Koepka and Phil Mickelson, in less than 2 weeks.
How about Phil coming home with a wet sail?
Oldest player ever to finish in the top 5 at the US Masters, 52 years of age. Unbelievable.
Incredible.
He's coming here, so is Brooks Koepka. Josh Giddey in the OKC, they're into the playoffs. They've got to win, they've got to beat the Pelicans and then either beat the Lakers or whoever the Lakers play, Minnesota. Speaking of Minnesota, so they're our winners. Losers, Minnesota, what about yesterday? Rudy Gobert and Kyle Anderson, they decided to have a dust-up in a timeout. That was wild. Then they went on to beat the Pelicans.
That's right, in a must-win game. They had a punch-up. They sent him home.
He sent him home, and then they ended up winning, and they were trailing big time at that stage. Richmond back to another loser. Lynch and Nankervis out for a long time. I think the Tigers are just about cooked after that. And a loser who became a winner on the weekend, a bit like Minnesota, they were trailing and then ended up winning. Timmy Ginniver proving that, and we've called with Timmy many times, and his emotions can be worn on his sleeve, but this is Timmy in a nutshell. He thought that the Power were going down, but then things turned around on the final siren.
This is a vital kick for Florent. This is vital. He has nailed it. He has nailed it.
Hang on.
Hang on.
It hasn't made the distance.
It didn't make the distance. They thought it was over. And it's been marked by Bergman.
Hold on.
What scenes we've seen. Aaliyah knows it.
He went from 0 to 100.
Timmy, that is sensational.
He was ready to throw the bottle against the studio wall again, but it turned around and the Power won, and he was pretty happy after that.
Fair enough.
Everyone reacted like that.
Thought it was
not
on.
everyone was in front of a live microphone. Crazy.
That was superb. Good on you, Rennie.
Thanks, boys.
$17 Schnitty. It's nearly tax time. Act now for immediate delivery on Mitsubishi Triton from Agostino, Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth.
For nearly 40 years, no one has done certified used cars quite like Steinborner Automotive, with dedicated yards including SA's best range of commercials loaded and ready to go, including SA's only dedicated small car and SUV centre, and SA's only large SUV and 4x4 centre suited for any lifestyle. Steinborner still also has the best range of Commodores from ZBs to the collectibles. View all late model used vehicles at steinborner.com.au. Steinborner Automotive. It's well worth the trip.
Barnacle Bill, serving South Australia with quality cooked seafood for over 50 years. Each order is freshly prepared using the finest quality seafood. Sumptuous prawns, calamari, mouth-watering butterfish and chips with Barnacle Bill's own tartare sauce. From a snack pack for 1, crew pack for 4 or for the whole family. Come in and see why Barnacle Bill has been serving South Australia quality seafood for over 50 years.
Fresh from the sea, he's gotta be Barnacle Bill.
Now, Will, I have a question for you. What's your garden like at the moment?
This feels like bullying. You probably know.
I didn't write the script.
No, someone who did. I'm taking to HR because they know, David. It's nothing like your garden.
Oh, look, I don't want to sound like I'm gloating, Will, but words don't do mine justice. That's why it's Stanford's. I love Stanford's. They don't just talk gardens; they want to see your photographs too.
Well, they do say a picture's worth 1,000 words, and nothing makes the Stanford's team's day like a photo of your pride and joy, your garden.
That's right. With 100 years of combined experience in the team, they've seen the lot, but it never gets old. Show them your unusual garden, your work in progress, your new veggie patch, the time you dabbled in hedge sculpting. They want to see it all. They're a wealth of knowledge at Stanford's when it comes to tips and tools to keep your garden pristine.
Pop in for tips or just to brag to someone who gets it. Go see Ben and Archie and their experienced team at 590 Main North Road, Jeps Cross, or check out stanfordmowers.com.au.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Showers developing in 24 with the 6:30 news. I'm Kendall Brettig. 5 people have been killed and another 9 are in hospital after a mass shooting in the US state of Kentucky. Local police say an ex-employee walked into a bank in Louisville and opened fire. Deputy Police Chief Paul Humphreys says the gunman is dead.
Within 3 minutes of being dispatched, officers arrived on scene and encountered the suspect almost immediately, still firing gunshots. Officers exchanged gunshots with that suspect, and ultimately the suspect did die at the scene.
State Parliament's set to become the next institution to adopt gender-neutral terms. The Advertiser's reporting it follows recommendations by a parliamentary committee and will bring us into line with federal government guidelines. It'll affect the Premier, King and Governor, with he and she becoming they. Australia's biggest banks will undergo exercises to test their ability to handle cyber attacks. Jessica Clancy reports.
The recent Optus, Medibank and Latitude Financial cyber breaches have drawn attention to the cracks in Australia's online security. The Home Affairs Minister has told the Herald there could be more serious hacks in the months ahead. Cyber readiness exercises have already been held with major institutions such as the Reserve Bank and ASIC. Similar tests will be held with individual banks before the government moves on to other critical networks, including the aviation sector.
Indigenous children and students from a lower socio-economic background are 3 times more likely to fall behind at school. A new report shows Australia's education quality is strong overall when compared to other OECD nations, but the study also warns the higher results may be masked by poorer performers. Victoria's recorded an earthquake overnight. The 3.4 magnitude quake was recorded at a depth of around 10 kilometres in Boort in the state's north around 2:30 this morning. There haven't been any reports of damage. Police officers and their vehicles have been attacked with petrol bombs during an illegal Republican rally in Northern Ireland. The unrest in Londonderry comes on the eve of commemorations marking the 25th anniversary of the Good Friday Peace Agreement. King Charles's coronation's only weeks away, the first in 70 years. UK correspondent Adam Gilchrist says he'll travel to Westminster Abbey in an Australian-built horse-drawn coach.
It has these fabulous oil paintings on the panels on the outside. It is extraordinary. It's a moving work of art. It's a killingly heavy thing. It goes unbelievably slowly, and as plenty of headlines have suggested, it is a shake, rattle and royal kind of ride.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
It's nearly tax time. Act now for immediate delivery on Mitsubishi Triton from Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. The AFL Integrity Unit is investigating racist comments directed online at Adelaide forward Isaac Rankin. The Crows and the League have condemned the comments which were directed at Rankin via social media. Well, Geelong is now just a game outside the top 8 after an emphatic Easter Monday win over Hawthorn. Cats coach Chris Scott says he understands commentary about his side not winning until round 4, but it's a long season.
I've got to sort of get the sense that when you haven't got much content 3 weeks in, the grand prognostications are kind of the way to go. And like when you look a bit silly in the fullness of time, I reckon, so I just try not to make them.
To golf, Spaniard Jon Rahm is back to world number 1 following his 4-shot win at the US Masters. He's the first Spanish player to win the event since Sergio Garcia in 2017 and 4th overall. Australia's cricketers Marcus Stoinis and Glenn Maxwell have both made half-centuries in the IPL overnight, Stoinis' side getting the win. And the NBA's regular season has wrapped up. The play-in tournament will get underway tomorrow morning with Josh Giddey's Oklahoma City Thunder to face off against the New Orleans Pelicans in a must-win elimination match. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Grab your Macca's Sharon Footy at Footy Festival. Macca's, official partners for the AFL Gather Round.
Showers developing this afternoon, heading for 24. A shower or two tomorrow, 20. Partly cloudy Thursday, 22. And mostly sunny Friday, 25. At the moment, 15. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Test drive the incredible Cherry Emotive 5 today at Cherry Glen Osmond from 33k drive away. Go Cherry.
$24 minutes to 7 coming up this half hour on the program. Your first chance to win what is just a suite of 5AA locker room tickets we've got to give away to the AFL Gather Round. The first game we're focusing on is Crows Carlton, the Thursday night game that'll kick off Gather Round. So every hour on the program this morning, we've got 2 doubles to give away, all thanks to Macca's, official partners of the AFL Gather Round. Kick your way down to Footy Festival to grab your Macca's Sharon Footy. I'm loving it. We'll do that just before 7 o'clock this morning. But
Are you going?
There's another. No, I'm not. I didn't get tickets.
You're reading the news, aren't you?
I will be, but I didn't get tickets because it doesn't get fall into your normal membership. You have to buy tickets. So
a few
I'm not that organised, David.
No, I know you well enough to know that you would. There's not a snowball's chance in hell you would have thought that through. But I got some ticks. Got a couple.
Well played you. Well played you.
Well, it wasn't really me. It was my wife.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But they've been hard to come by.
Well, that game is completely sold out. Aside from the tickets we've got to give away over the course of the morning, so stay listening. That'll happen in about 20 minutes' time, your first chance to win. But don't worry, if you miss out this hour, next hour you get another chance. And the hour after that, another chance for Carlton v Adelaide. Now, a little bit further off from the festivities of Gather Round, Live Golf in Adelaide. In fact, just under a month away, the Coronation will take place in the UK. Edward Godfrey's covering it for 9 News and joins us after a weekend when a slew of details have come out. Edward, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, good evening. How are you?
We're good, thanks, Edward. So I was reading over the weekend. One thing that interests me the most about the Coronation is Camilla's title. Like, I thought it was the late Queen Elizabeth's request that she be known as the Queen Consort in perpetuity. But clearly Charles has got different ideas. Is that a bit of a breach of, what was almost a dying recommendation by the Queen?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's almost as controversial as Liv, really, isn't it? There was a request that she be called the Queen Consort, and it just depends what you read over here. I think on the invitation that went out, it referred to her as the Queen. But in most of the reporting still refers to her as the Queen Consort. So, I don't know, maybe we'll find out on the day.
What do we know about whether Harry and Meghan are going to be turning up and what they're going to be doing on the day?
Oh, I was hoping you might have the mail on that. Everyone's trying to predict what's going to happen there. But the invitations have gone out. There's going to be about 2,000 people there. And as you say, we've got some more details about what's going to happen on the day. It'll be on Saturday, May 6th. And you might want to get your maps out here if you're really excited about it. So Charles and Camilla are going to depart Buckingham Palace in the morning. They'll be in the Diamond Jubilee stagecoach, which is Australian-made. And it's got some pretty modern trimmings on it, actually. They'll proceed down the Mall through and along Whitehall and around Parliament Square, eventually getting to Westminster Abbey for an 11 o'clock start. That's the same place where the last 39 monarchs have been crowned, going back to the year 1066, including his late mother, Queen Elizabeth. It's about a 2.1 kilometre journey, which is a bit shorter than the Queen's was. And following that service, there's going to be a larger procession, which will take the same route in reverse. And that'll feature armed forces from across the Commonwealth, and we understand some Australian troops will be involved too. For the return leg, though, the King and Queen Consorts, you might find this interesting, are switching to the Gold stagecoach. You can never have too many of them. That was last used in the Queen's Platinum Jubilee celebrations. Apparently, that is a very uncomfortable ride. I think it was King William IV referred to it as like being on a ship in a rough sea. So it might look all pretty on TV and rolling through the streets there, but it's a bit of a rough ride if you can feel some sympathy for them there.
There were two other distressing details I read. One is that Camilla's going to be presented with some sort of sword made out of ivory, big piece of ivory being ripped out of the corpse of a massacred elephant, which is spectacularly tasteless. But the other thing, apparently, is the Archbishop of Canterbury going to rub some sort of holy oil on Prince Charles' chest as part of the process of inducting him or inaugurating him as the king?
There's like some images, doesn't it?
Hopefully none that we'll see on Channel 9.
That is part of the proceedings, I understand. I'm told that the oil is vegan. They've been stressing
that's the important part, isn't it?
That doesn't help the elephant, though, does it?
It doesn't help the elephant. But the spoon's not out of the dishwasher. It dates back to the 13th century, I believe. So there's all kinds of fascinating old artifacts.
I thought they would have got all their royal cutlery from Franklin Mint like the rest of us.
What's the vibe, Edward, with regard to the build-up and the excitement or criticism or otherwise? Because it's not as though the king, when he goes out and makes, at the moment, public appearances, gets, universal acclaim. He's often getting booed and heckled and so forth. What's the feeling with regard to the coronation? Is it going to be a national celebration, or do you think there's going to be a significant number of detractors and people saying this is all a bit over the top, given where everything is at the moment?
Everyone's just bursting with excitement here. No, I think generally he gets a pretty good reception here, especially around London and in England. I know there are obviously varying different points of view on the monarchy and Charles, perhaps. But he gets a pretty good run here, and there is a fair bit of build-up now. Lots of articles popping up, obviously, on your BBC, and you're starting to see some bunting go up around town. There are some stagings going up around just outside Buckingham Palace. I saw yesterday we're at the front filming out there, and it's going to be a long weekend here. And something that is pretty exciting is I understand the pubs here are going to be allowed to stay open for 2 hours longer than usual on the Friday and Saturday. So they're encouraging everyone to get involved. There's going to be a lot of parties in the street, supposedly, and they're encouraging everyone to celebrate the day in their own way at home as well. So.
Hey, Ed, on a private note, you've just moved to London from Adelaide, haven't you? How are you settling in? How are you finding it? Must be freezing cold at the moment.
I'm freezing my you-know-what's off. Just trying to adjust over here. Certainly not in any royal palace. I'm just in a hotel at the moment. But, I'm adjusting to the cold. I'm very lucky. I've got my girlfriend Rosie here. And, we're just settling in and working very hard. It was hit the ground running, and I've been off to Poland, down near the Ukraine border, pretty much as soon as I got here. And just had a very awkward segue into a Star Wars expo the day I got back. So you cover all things wonderful and wild over here.
Hopefully it's more wonderful than wild. Edward, thank you. We appreciate your time this morning back here in your hometown. Edward Godfrey for 9 News covering the coronation. So it's the 6th with the 11th, so it's less than a month away. 16 minutes to 7.
The process, it just highlights the absurdity of it all, doesn't it?
The royal carriage that he talked about, the uncomfortable one that looks like it's made out of solid gold, is just the most outrageous and inappropriate symbol of the monarchy, especially when Charles has been all about the strip back monarchy.
Oh yeah, it's a very modest process, isn't it?
Yeah, except
it just reminds me of the Monty Python sketch from the Holy Grail. How'd you become king? By exploiting the worker.
Yeah, that's right.
The angry peasant.
16 to 7. We're going to check traffic and come back with police, weather, and your chance to win gather round tickets to the Crows-Carlton game Thursday night next.
Thanks, Will, and good morning. Theberton got a breakdown to look out for at James Colton Drive near Port Road. Quite busy at the moment. Marion Road at Crossroad. Got a lane out of action at Woodville. Woodville Road near Bower Street. Speeds at 40. And got a few cameras around about early this morning. You'll find one on Tolmer Road, Elizabeth Park, and the North-South Motorway at Dry Creek. Or you'll see coffee on the OTR app and enjoy a freshly ground barista-made coffee. It's as easy as click and collect. OTR. Making life easy. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
At WEA, we can teach you hundreds of things, or you can be the teacher. If you have a skill or passion you'd like to pass on, contact WEA. We'll even help you build your course. Visit wea-sa.com.au.
Invited all your mates over for a barbie, but don't have enough food for everyone?
Get into Drake's and stock up on a huge range of steaks, sausages, skewers, patties, salads and bread to satisfy the whole crew. Drake's have all the ingredients for you, no matter what the day.
Drake's have all the ingredients for barbecue days.
This is an invitation to live your best life at 88 O'Connell, where luxury and well-being meet in perfect harmony. Join us for free morning tea on the 19th and 26th of April. Learn more about 88's world-class amenities, including stunning pools, state-of-the-art gym, on-site allied health services like medical, physio, pharmacy, beauty, and more. This is the life. Collect your free gift on arrival. Hurry, spots are limited. Book now for morning tea at 88o'connell.com. Want to know the secret to feeling happy at home? It's having neighbours you love knowing, spaces you like going, enjoying peaceful gardens where someone else does the mowing. At Lend-Lease Retirement Living, we have 4 villages across South Australia, so you can embrace a life of delight. Join us for a tour and discover the joy of retirement in a community that cares. Call 1800 550 550 or search Lend-Lease Retirement Living.
The numbers are in and the LDV Deliver 9 just keeps delivering. The Deliver 9 was the best-selling large van in Australia in 2022. In fact, drive.com.au called the LDV Deliver 9 terrific value for money. From just $43,990 drive away for ABN holders, the Deliver 9 has the features you need to keep your business moving. Test drive one today to see why it's Australia's best-selling large van. LDV, bring it on. Based on VFAX Heavy Commercial as at December 2022. T's and C's and exclusions at ldvautomotive.com.au.
There's always something you can WEA. We have hundreds of courses available, from bookkeeping to balloon animals. It's a giraffe. Visit wea-sa.com.au to browse the course guide today.
9 News is made in Adelaide for Adelaide.
And has been since 1959.
I'm Kate Collins.
And I'm Brenton Raglas. Join us for 9 News tonight at 6.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
The Cherry Motor 5 offers state-of-the-art driving from 33k drive away. Visit Cherry Glen Osmond.
13 to 7, your chance to win gather round tickets to the sold-out Crows Carlton game coming up in about 5 minutes' time, all thanks to Macca's. But first, let's head to the Bureau because the weather is exceptionally important this week in Adelaide. Simon Timke is the senior forecaster on duty. Simon, looks like it's going to be a bit of a wet one.
Good morning, guys. Certainly is an interesting week ahead weather-wise. Firstly, today, some weather moving across the west of the state at the moment, expected to reach the Adelaide area later on this afternoon and during the evening. Probably a little bit of sunshine around during the morning with a little bit of thin high cloud pushing across, but hopefully see a little bit of sunshine through, but then that cloud in the west now pushing across during the afternoon, and I think we'll see some showers late afternoon and evening, possibly a gusty thunderstorm late afternoon and evening as well. Becoming a little bit windier as the day goes on as well. The winds northeasterly to start off with, but they'll gradually tend around more northwesterly during the afternoon and become a bit stronger and a bit gustier. We do have a severe weather warning out for damaging winds. Doesn't include the Adelaide Plains, but does include the Mount Lofty Ranges, Kangaroo Island, southern York Peninsula, and eastern and lower Eyre Peninsula for those potentially damaging winds over the Mount Lofty Ranges, probably during the evening, I think. Temperature-wise, a slightly warmer day today, expecting 24 degrees the maximum for the city. Around the suburbs, 24 as well for Noarlunga and Elizabeth, 23 for Glenelg, 21 degrees for Mount Barker. Currently in the city, sitting on 15.3 degrees after our overnight minimum of 13 at just after 1:30. For Wednesday, the showers continuing in the morning. I think they'll mostly clear by early afternoon. Chance of a thunderstorm as well. Still pretty windy, but we'll see those winds ease in the evening. Bit cooler tomorrow, 20 degrees. Thursday should be mostly dry, 22, and then we'll see some showers redevelop on Friday, but not until the evening. I think mostly sunny during the day, but some showers in the evening, 25 degrees. Then looking pretty wet for Saturday, I think. Plenty of showers around, possibly tending to rain at times on Saturday, 23 degrees. Sunday, a shower or two around 19 degrees. So looking a little bit wet for those games of footy.
All right. Thank you, Simon. Simon Timke, senior forecast at the Weather Bureau. Let's head to SAPOL. Senior Constable Rebecca Stokes on the line. Beck, a man's tried to escape police at Holden Hill.
Yes, and unfortunately broke his leg while doing so. We were called to Judith Avenue at Holden Hill about 1:20am this morning by reports of people rifling through cars in the street, and police searched the area and immediately located and apprehended one suspect. But a second man ran off jumping fences, and police dog Axe and his handler started searching just surrounding yards in the area for him. Then a few minutes later, a man was found in a rear yard, and it appears that he had broken his leg while jumping over a fence, so he was just sat there waiting in pain for police to find him. So he's been taken to the Royal Adelaide Hospital for treatment. A 21-year-old man and a 24-year-old man, they've both been arrested for outstanding matters, including breach of bail and warrants. They refused police bail and will face court today, and we're still investigating the car break-ins in the area. So just a call out to residents of Judith Avenue and that surrounding area at Holden Hill. If you wake up this morning and find that your car's been broken into, please report it on the police assistance line on 13144, because we think there may have been a few break-ins overnight.
Well, he's learned a valuable life lesson. I guess if he, got a job working at a bank or something, there's less chance you're going to break your leg jumping over a fence at 1:20 in the morning. So
less risky unless you're hurdling the counter on the way out.
Yeah, that's right.
On a Friday afternoon.
Other ways to make a living. Also, Beck, another one here. You've arrested someone after they robbed a service station in Victor.
Yeah, another quick arrest last night. This was just after 7pm. Police were called to a service station on High Marsh Road at Victor Harbour after reports a man had entered, threatened staff with a weapon and made off with cash. Fortunately, there were no injuries. Local patrols attended and searched the area and quickly located the suspect nearby, and he was arrested without incident. He's a 45-year-old local man. He's been charged with aggravated robbery and did not apply for bail overnight, so he'll appear in the Christie's Beach Magistrates Court today. So a good result there.
Absolutely. Good on you, Beck. Senior
Thanks,
Constable Beck Stokes from SafePol. All right, the time has arrived, 8 to 7. We have doubles to give away every hour of the program. 2 doubles every hour of the program this week to gather round. Each day is dedicated to a game or games as it plays out. We get later in the week and get closer to those double headers. So it's kicking off Gather Round, Crows Carlton Thursday night, sold out at the moment, except for the tickets we've got this morning. 2 doubles each hour. The first we're giving away right now. The first 2 doubles we're giving away right now. All thanks to Macca's, official partners of the AFL Gather Round. Kick your way down to Footy Festival to grab your Macca's. Sharon, I'm loving it. Now, here's the thing. When we originally came up with this concept, a bright spark in the team said, it'd be good. Let's get the listeners to make the sound of the team's mascot. The Crows. Make a Crows sound. Beautiful. Like that. Fantastic. You'd win.
Maybe not.
You'd win it.
I'm certainly not going to win it with that effort.
So you can call in if you're a Crows fan, 8223 Get calling now. The best Crow will win a double. Now, the problem is they're playing the Blues. And we thought, does that work? Probably not.
What if to do a Stephen Kernan impersonation?
But then we thought, it might be kind of interesting to see what people come up with. So, if you're a Carlton fan that wants to get along, make the sound of a blue. We don't know what that is.
Something blue. Well, maybe you can make the sound of a hovercraft. They had that hovercraft for a while.
What I would suggest,
Captain Carlton on it,
is you make the sound and then explain to us why it's a blue afterwards. That probably is the best strategy.
What about your favourite blues singer? You'd come on and pretend that you're Howlin' Wolf.
Well, there's an idea. Look,
pretending that you're Howling Wolf would be pretty hard.
There are many different ways you can go with it, but we've got to be fair to all the teams, and we can't help if your team is a colour and it doesn't make any sound. I don't know what the power is going to be.
I was going to say the power v the Bulldogs.
Well, they can make sort of cracking lightning or something around, don't they? Actually, lightning, it sort of thunders the sound part. But anyway, let's worry about that later in the week. 8223 0055. Gather round tickets. FIVEAA locker room as well, and you know how good those tickets are.
Hottest tickets in town, folks. You can only get them here.
Paul in Highbury, make the sound of a crow, my friend.
Okay.
It's singing.
Thank you, Paul. That's the crow, a crow singing the crow's song, which was an added layer of complexity. Richard in Whyalla, good morning.
Good morning.
What's your sound, Richard? You've set the dog off, Richard.
The dog's going.
I've got a choir happening with the dog.
Thank you, Richard. Sophie, good morning.
Good morning.
Fire away, Sophie. Sophie, do you do this professionally?
Not until today.
way.
Yeah, well, I think you got a. I don't know if there is a career in it, but thank
that
you,
was a great
Sophie.
noise.
Not a lot of Carlton fans calling in yet. I think they're still sort of brainstorming options. Jane, good morning.
Morning.
Hit us with it, Jane.
Rah! Rah! Yippee!
Yippee.
Yippee.
As the crows would typically
Yes.
say.
Oh, yeah.
Ben, good morning. Hit us with your sound.
Good morning. Stand by your man.
That's Styx.
Well, that's A Blue singing.
That was Styx' famous rendition
infamously
of-
Once Upon a Time.
That's right.
I don't know. My sense was Ben was struggling a little in the lyrics department there, but that's okay.
But he had a bit of a Kernahan-esque quality.
It did a bit. Lynn, good morning. What's your sound?
Hi. Ah! Ah!
Good on you, Lynn.
Excellent, Lynn.
No, that's excellent. Thank you, Lynn. Joe, good morning.
Good morning.
Fire
Go,
away,
Joe.
Joe.
Hit
Good
us with
morning.
it.
It's Joe from Glengarry.
Thank you, Joe. What's your sound? Oh,
That's good.
That's in the
That's
upper
up there.
register, that one, isn't it? That's
Yeah,
high
yeah.
profile.
Yeah.
High pitch, should I say. Okay, we've got a million crows, one blue thus far.
I've been taking copious notes.
You've
here.
got notes. So are we going to do any more? I can see Lucy and Sam huddling up out there at the moment.
I reckon we've got enough material to work with.
Have we got one more,
all
Carlton? No, we don't. Okay.
Okay.
Let's go to the judging panel, which is you, David.
Well, we had a bit of everything there. We had Paul from Highbury with the singing crow, managed to do the club song. We had Richard from Whyalla with his sort of fairly monotone Leonard Cohen inspired sort of
Leonard Cohen.
Suzanne
Do you think Leonard Cohen would appreciate
takes me
that comparison?
down to the banks by the river and buys me tea and oranges. Look, Lynn was good, Joe was good, Jane was good. I thought Sophie from Edendale in a league of her own.
So Sophie's got one double.
Sophie's got one double.
We've got another double though.
And I thought, even though he was the only Blues fan we got, I reckon Ben actually did. It was clever because it was on the fly, and Stephen Kernahan was obviously ridiculed for that version he did of Stand By Your Man.
It was a blue making a sound.
It was a blue making a sound, and it was a famous blue sound. So Ben, he's a winner too.
Ben and Sophie are both off to the game at the Adelaide Oval. Crows Carlton, all thanks to Macca's, official partners of the AFL Gather Round. Kick your way down to Footy Festival to grab your Macca's share in footy. I'm loving it.
Things need topping up from time to time, including your COVID-19 protection. Even if you've been vaccinated, boosters can top up your defences and reduce the risk of serious COVID illness. If you're an adult and it's 6 months since your last COVID vaccination or infection, you can now get the latest vaccine. Top up your COVID protection. Visit health.gov.au/top-up to book your free booster or to find out more. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
It's Foodland's Mighty Millions giveaway. Download the Foodland app and win. Spend $30 and win. So get happy and win family fun vouchers worth up to $50.
Foodland, the mighty South Aussies, yeah.
Whether you're gathering round the telly or round the oval, footy's always better with Macca's, the official partners of the AFL Gather Round.
We are stoked about this, and look, great having Macca's involved. If you're heading along, Macca's have got plenty of activities lined up that you can gather round. Put your footy skills to the test in the kick-to-kick zone. Get a personalised footy card at the Captain's Card photo booths. And you can even check out the Macca's swings.
You can recharge at the McCafe cart, where your gold coin donations will raise funds for the Ronald McDonald House here in South Australia.
Plus, Macca's are giving you the chance to score yourself tickets to the 2023 Toyota AFL Grand Final. Just scan the QR code at the kick-to-kick zone and you'll go straight into the draw. T's and C's apply.
And of course, too, they've just helped us give away some tickets in the last couple of minutes, and they will do in the next hour on the program as well. Adelaide, get pumped to Gather Round. It's all thanks to Macca's, official partners of the AFL Gather Round.
You know, there's a really simple way to be sure the ham you're buying is made from Australian pork. You just look for a pink box on your packs. That way, you'll know the pork comes fresh from our farms.
And not shipped in from overseas!
Yep, a pink box on your pack also means the ham has passed Australia's strict quality controls. So your ham will taste great. So for true Australian quality, Just pick a pack with a pink pork logo. Thanks a lot.
When you die, who gets what? Will your kids or relatives argue over your estate? Will your beneficiaries be protected? Will your estate be tax effective? Will your wishes be respected and carried out? Speak with Donlan Lawyers now for peace of mind. Donlan Lawyers for wills and estate planning. Visit donlanlawyers.com. That's donlanlawyers.com.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. Online, on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Showers developing in 24 with the 7 o'clock news. I'm Kendall Brettig. A man's broken his leg while trying to hide from police at Holden Hill overnight. Senior Constable Rebecca Stokes says patrols were called to Judith Avenue after reports of people rifling through cars in the street.
Police searched the area and immediately located and apprehended one suspect, but a second man ran off jumping fences. And police dog Axe and his handler started searching surrounding yards in the area for him. Then a few minutes later, a man was found in a rear yard, and it appears that he had broken his leg while jumping over a fence, so he's been taken to the Royal Adelaide Hospital for treatment.
A 21-year-old man and a 24-year-old have both been arrested for outstanding matters, including breach of bail and warrants. They'll appear in court later today. 5 people, including the gunman, have been killed in a mass shooting in the US state of Kentucky. The shooter opened fire inside a bank he used to work at. 9 people have been injured, including 2 police officers who've been shot. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear says the shootings affected him on a personal level.
I have a very close friend that didn't make it today. And I have another close friend who didn't either, and one who's at the hospital that I hope is going to make it through. So when we talk about praying, I hope people will.
Students who attend John Hartley School in Smithfield Plains may not be back in the classroom till at least Thursday. It follows a suspicious fire which tore through classrooms in Building 6, leaving a damage bill of more than $1 million. A young girl's in a serious condition after she was mauled by a dog in Logan in Queensland. It's understood the 6-year-old was on a fence when the dog jumped up and dragged her into the yard. She was rushed to hospital with significant abdominal, chest and shoulder injuries. A male relative who rescued her was also taken to hospital with leg injuries. A severe cyclone's expected to make landfall in WA's northwest later this week. Cyclone Isla's brewing off the coast north of the Kimberley. It could bring winds of up to 200 kilometres an hour. Housing groups say a target to build 1 million new homes in 5 years won't be met without extra spending from the federal government. High interest rates and rising costs are shrinking the development pipeline. The Real Estate Institute of Australia is calling for more government-funded developments. Deputy President Anne Pilkington says that would help ease the housing crisis.
All of the new housing applications back in the 80s, 10% of them were for social housing. Now it's 2%. So the government really needs to look at that commitment. We've got a 10-year wait list for public housing in this country. It's just not good enough.
The federal government's yet to confirm if Prime Minister Anthony Albanese will accept an invitation to the next NATO meeting in Lithuania. Lithuania says it expects partners of the alliance to attend the meeting. Concerns about China and Russia's growing ties will be discussed. US President Joe Biden's accidentally let it slip he plans to recontest the 2024 election. He was speaking to NBC's Today Show when host Al Roker prodded him on the topic.
Come on, help a brother out. Make some news for me. No. Well, I plan on running Al, but we're not prepared to announce it yet.
US correspondent Jonathan Kersley says he thinks a formal announcement's round the corner.
He suggested and said that he has other things that are unfinished. So I think he's certainly paving the road for an announcement that he will run again for the presidency in 2024.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
It's nearly tax time. Act now for immediate delivery on Mitsubishi Triton from Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. The AFL is set to launch an investigation into comments directed towards Adelaide forward Isaac Rankin. The racist remarks were directed at Rankin on social media and have been condemned by both the league and the club. Well, the reigning premiers Geelong are off the bottom of the ladder after winning their first match of the season. Jordan Tunbridge reports.
It took the Cats until round 4 to win their first match of the season, but reigning premiership coach Chris Scott insists he has never panicked.
I just don't buy into the idea of symbolism and trying to work out what this means in round 3 or round 4. Our job's just to get as good as we can, as quickly as we can.
Despite trailing at half-time, the Cats thumped the Hawks by 82 points at the MCG, Jeremy Cameron starring with 7 goals. Scott was still left frustrated, though, after another of his ruckmen was kneed in the gut during a ruck contest.
You cannot do it. How they miss that is beyond me. It has to be taken out of the game.
He's once again calling on the AFL to address the issue.
To soccer, Melbourne City's moved 7 points clear at the top of the A-League table and look assured of the Premier's plate with only 3 regular season games left. One game to wrap up round 6 in the NRL yesterday with the Parramatta Eels 28 to 22 point winners against the West Tigers. And wins on the final day of the NBA season have secured the LA Clippers and the Warriors their places in the playoffs. The LA Lakers will have to go through the play-in tournament despite taking care of the Utah Jazz. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now to the traffic.
Worried about cheap insurance? Who offers great value cover you won't regret? Amy does. Before buying insurance issued by Amy, read the PDS and TMD at amy.com.au and consider whether it's right for you.
At Theberton, look out for a breakdown on James Colton Drive near Port Road. Busy at the moment, Marion Road at Crossroad. Got a lane out of action, Woodville Road near Bower Street. Speeds are reduced down to 40 k's there. And we're slow going for works at Wingfield this morning on the Salisbury Highway at the Wingfield ramp. Speeds reduced down to 60. Cameras, they're out at about LA today. You'll find one Hart Street semaphore and McIntyre Road at Salisbury East. Goodyear Auto Care are your 4x4 tyre experts. For great 4x4 tyre specials and great value car servicing, call Goodyear Auto Care today on 132343. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Kick-off Footy Festival with Maccas, official partners for the AFL Gather Round. I'm loving it.
Showers developing this afternoon, heading for 24. A shower or two tomorrow, 20. Partly cloudy Thursday, 22. And mostly sunny on Friday, 25. At the moment, 15. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Test drive the incredible Cherry Motor 5 today at Cherry Glen Osmond from 33k drive away. Go Cherry.
Bit of sad news, Adam. ABBA overnight. We'll get to that in our news wrap in a few moments' time. 8 after 7. Good morning to you if you are joining us for the first time in this shortened week.
We're loving it. As they say at McDonald's.
Exactly right. 11th of April is the start of the AFL's Gather Round, and we've got you covered with tickets right throughout the week. In fact, every hour we are giving away double passes thanks to the wonderful people at Macca's. We had a lot of fun with people making complete fools of themselves before 7 o'clock.
What about that?
This next one coming up later this hour.
We should release a CD of that. That was excellent.
I think there's been worse CDs released.
I had a Big Mac Friday, Will. It was excellent.
Did you?
Went through the drive-through there on
I can tell you've got that kind of smile on your face.
It's good too. It's easy for the kids, and you can get you don't need to just do the fries and nuggets. We always get the apple pieces.
Oh, get the dessert. You do courses.
No, yeah, for the kids. You can
Nice.
sub out the fries. There's all sorts of choices there. Well, you can pump them full of fries as well. No harm in that. As long as they're physically
right.
active.
Exactly right.
They go running around.
Exactly right.
Now these tickets, we can't stress this enough, folks. You can't. We're giving away tickets for matches. Now, tickets to these games do not exist. Like, don't go bothering on Ticket Tech trying to find a ticket to Adelaide Carlton this Thursday.
They certainly, even if you find some on the resale market, they won't come with a drinks package.
No.
Ours do.
Yes.
Stay listening. 2 doubles are going to be given away in, I reckon, in the next 35, 40 minutes on 5AA Breakfast. Let's get into some of the news stories that are bobbling around the place this morning, around the world and indeed Australia, starting in the United States, where it appears that unofficially, but sort of officially sounding, US President Joe Biden has made clear that he will be running again in 2024. Here he is speaking with Al Roker.
Come on, help a brother out. Make some news for me. No. Well, I plan on running now, but we're not prepared to announce it yet.
Touche.
So, there he is. He's running.
He's got his feet.
He's not going to announce it officially...
Al Roker, wasn't he the weatherman?
He was.
Bryant Gumbel and Katie Couric?
Absolutely he was.
Brought to you by Holsker's Coffee.
Al Roker interviewing Joe Biden. So I guess the outstanding question around his candidacy was all framed around his age. Because typically it's not a live question whether someone who's won the first term will run again for the second, except for the fact that Joe Biden's 80. So he will turn...
It's not, I don't think it's his age. Age is an arbitrary number. It's his demeanour.
It's his diminishing capacity.
Yeah, there's plenty of 80-year-olds who could run rings around Joe Biden when it comes to, the arduous task of stringing an actual sentence together.
He will be 80, turns 82 in the month of the presidential election. He would be 86 at the end of it. So 6 years on from now, he would still be president of the United States. It's hard to imagine. I was even watching him chat with Al Roker. His wife acts like the world's closest and most diligent media handler.
Yeah, she's almost like sort of the carer in a way.
She was sort of holding him and trying to make sure he didn't say the wrong thing. And
he's not going to the coronation.
No.
Jill Biden, the First Lady, is going.
I mean, they have a fraught relationship with the monarch, don't they?
Well, yeah, a bit of history there.
They did. They had a bit of a blow up at one point.
Right, exactly.
This was a sad, unnecessary, and stupid story out of the weekend here in Adelaide. Police and fire crews were called to John Hartley's school on Peachy Road at Smithfield Plains about 9:40 p.m. on Easter Sunday night. 8 classrooms were destroyed in the early years centre. The damage is worth about $1 million, but that's sort of not the point here. The classrooms have been destroyed, all the kids' work's been destroyed. The official cause hasn't been declared. There are people that were witnesses that said they heard fireworks going off in the area before the fire started. None of that's official yet. It has been classed as arson, though. Reception and Year 2 students are going to have to do their work in the gym when they go back to school. On 7 News last night, a number of parents and the principal of John Hartley School had this to say.
It's hard to explain to a little kid when they think they're going to school tomorrow when now they're not.
It's a shock to see it last night. Heartbreaking for these 2 little ones.
It's going to set them back a hell of a lot.
Very disappointing. It's devastating for the community.
So there's been constant communication between the school and parents. Looks like they'll go back to school, a version of the school, on Thursday.
Last week of school before school holidays in the public system, and for those kids, they would have had, as your kids habitually do, at the end of term, they bring all their work home and proudly show you.
Yeah.
But, it's hugely disconcerting for the kids who at that age are still sort of getting into the rhythm of having their spot, rocking up every day, knowing when they put their lunchbox. It's mindless.
Matthew Nix was on Fox Footy last night responding to the latest ugly racist incident involving football. Isaac Rankin was targeted on social media. Again, we discussed this earlier, but by an account that was clearly created with the explicit purpose of causing trouble like this. It didn't have any followers. It's not a real person per se, albeit there's a real person behind it. Here's what Matthew Nix had to say on Fox Footy.
We sat down with Isaac as a group of players and staff, and we just made sure that Isaac was okay, and that his welfare from this point is our main concern. Obviously, the cowardly act that has taken place by someone who, I can only give you my personal opinion. It's not a person. This is someone who's actively targeted. It's an intention here to hurt someone. To have an account set up where it can't be traced, it's not a real person, in my opinion. And it's disgraceful. But we'll do whatever we can from here to support Isaac. He's been fantastic. Coming back to his home state, the way he's gone about his footy, the way he's settled into our group, who he is off the field, he's an amazing human being. And so we'll just put all the support we can around him, and he can't wait to play Thursday night footy. So that's our focus. That was where we went today. We looked at Carlton, which is the next step for us as a group, and how do we get Isaac there, because he loves a big stage.
The bit that sticks in my craw in this story is I can't shake the feeling that the person who did this is getting everything they wanted out of it, and there is no chance of them facing any sort of punishment.
Well, yeah, but, I mean, let's just, for the record, state that they are no-life losers who are probably not in a relationship
completely,
currently sitting in mum's attic or out the back in the granny flat leading an empty life. The other feature of the story that irks me, though, is, so occasionally, very occasionally, we have had people, and this is a freewheeling talkback show where people are free to ring in about anything they like. But there's a few people in South Australia who, when they ring 5AA, will find that they talk to the producers, their call does not go to air. And that's because in the past they've used really offensive language, or they've said something spectacularly defamatory. They've called someone a shocking name, or often they've said something that is despicably racist. Same when it comes to moderating the comments that appear, like if I write a column and it goes up online, doesn't matter if it's 2 o'clock in the morning over the weekend, there's always somebody working there who's moderating those comments, reading those comments and thinking that is unfit for publication. So if someone gets on there and says something racist and offensive about an individual, those comments don't get published. How does it work at Instagram?
Well, it does. There's no oversight. But there's no, I guess the point is there's no pushback.
But the whole business model is framed around not giving a toss about that, isn't it? Because that's one person you'd have to hire. Or it's one existing person you'd have to retrain. Like, it's just all care and no responsibility, isn't it?
16 after 7.
But why isn't there a consequence? Because if we put someone to air who comes on here and starts, quoting Mein Kampf or something, or saying terrible things about coloured people.
But you know what I reckon?
We would get hauled before the coals, rightly.
Yes.
But under the Communications Act. Why doesn't Instagram get prosecuted for it?
But I think what they would say, and I don't think this is much of a defence, but what they would say is, no one broadcast it. I think
someone published it.
No, they sent it directly. It wasn't broadcast. It was narrowcast. It was sent directly to someone. It was sent directly to someone to upset that individual.
But that is a form of publishing. That's still publishing. It's been published.
So they would say, well, no one knew about it until the Crows started talking about it.
Well, that's a cop-out.
Yeah, I agree completely. But
they
would argue, if they were sitting in front of a parliamentary committee about why the one law's for media and not for you, they'd say, well, one's a one-to-one
See, that's not the way the
communication.
law of defamation works. There's a famous case involving a guy called Artemis Jones, a made-up name, or so thought a newspaper. They'd created this piece in the 19th century about all these despicable things that Artemis Jones had done. On Monday, Artemis Jones rocked up at the paper and said, "Get your checkbook out, you've defamed me." And the newspaper said, "Sorry, we did not think, for instance, there was somebody called Artemis Jones." And he said, "Well, here I am, and my peers now think less of me on account of what you said in that article." So, whether you intend it or not, it's a strict liability offence. So why don't we have some more stringent rules around it? Because it would put the fear of God into the social media companies.
I think it's a great idea.
It would apply to bullying for your kids and your grandkids.
Completely. Sad news out of ABBA, as we mentioned right at the top of the hour overnight. ABBA's long-term guitarist, Lassie Wallander, has died after a short battle with cancer.
Knowing me, knowing you.
October 1974, became the main guitarist on the group's albums, toured with them in 75, 77, 79 and 80. Even after they broke up, he ended up working with Benny and Bjorn a fair bit. He appeared on the Chess concept album, the two Gemini albums, the soundtracks for Mamma Mia, as well as the album Voyage that was just released as well. So he's as
I reckon that's one of the things that make ABBA work as a band. They had a pretty big guitar sound. Like they were a good sort of 70s guitar driven band. Like you think about the guitar at the end of SOS, which I reckon is their most rockin' song. He was hugely important in the sound of that band.
19 minutes after 7, we're going to check traffic and come back with a wrap of the weekend. Stephen Rowe will join us in just a moment.
Thanks, Will. We've got a breakdown to look out for at Theberton this morning. It's on James Cogner Drive near Port Road. No great dramas, but keep it in mind if you're heading that way. Busy in a couple of spots already this morning. Cavan Road and Port Wakefield Road, also Jetty Road at Glenelg. Got lane out of action this morning at Osborne, Victoria Road near Osborne Road. Speeds at 40. With cameras this morning, McIntyre Road, Salisbury East and the Port River Expressway at Wingfield. Wok in a Box at OTR has delicious meals from just $9.95, made from the freshest ingredients and tasty Asian-style sauces. Wok in a Box at OTR. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Gather round, people, I'll tell you a story.
South Australia has a story to tell, so gather round, Australia. From the hills to the coast, our state is abuzz with a festival of football. like you've never seen before. Every team from every state, and we welcome all visitors with open arms. It's all happening here in South Australia, and 5AA is your home for Gather Round.
Hello, I'm Lynn Andrews. For over 50 years, the team at Lynn Andrews Real Estate have made it easy to manage residential and commercial property. Whether you own a single residential home or multiple commercial properties, our passion for property investment means we have a great deal of knowledge to share. How to invest safely and properly. Matching the right tenant with the right property every time. We're here to help. Visit lynandrews.com.au.
If you love your home but you've never been in love with your kitchen, the answer is not far away.
No, it's not. It's just 15 minutes up the freeway, in fact. That's where you'll find Balhanna Kitchens by Design. Now, it boasts the largest kitchen design showroom in the Adelaide Hills, and everything is manufactured here too, so you won't be waiting months and months for everything to be shipped in.
Balhanna Kitchens by Design will organise all the sub-trades too, so you'll be dealing with one project manager and one fixed price.
Balhanna Kitchens by Design. It's not too far to go to make your dream kitchen a reality. See more at their website, balhannakitchens.com.au.
G'day South Australia, Cheats here. Over the years I've seen some great South Australian teams, but the best has to be the team from BL Shipway, who I've known for over 30 years. They've been looking after the state's hydraulic and pneumatic needs since 1953. You can find them on Richmond Road with stock on hand from quality brands like Ryco, Rexroth, Hydac and Enerpac. If you can't get to them, they'll send a Ryco 24/7 van to you anytime, anywhere. blshipway.com.au, a South Australian team you can count on.
9 News is made in Adelaide for Adelaide.
And has been since 1959.
I'm Kate Collins.
And I'm Brenton Raglas. Join us for 9 News tonight at 6.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
The Cherry Motor 5 offers state-of-the-art driving from 33k drive away. Visit Cherry Glen Osmond.
22 minutes after 7, Stephen Rowe in a moment. A few texts coming through on the Duttons text line this morning, 0480 1395 for the brand new GWM Tank 4x4 Hybrid Duttons. Easy to do business with.
One here says the media need to stop reporting on these racial abuse stories. That's what these anonymous trolls want. Well, it's a bit more complicated than that. I mean, if you've got a position where Isaac Rankin, Crow's gun player, coming into, the peak of his career, the way he's playing football at the moment, he's so hurt by this that he goes public about it. And then Tim Silvers, the CEO, puts out a statement, and then the Crows coach, Matty Nix, talks about it. What do we do? Nothing to see here, folks.
Yeah, sorry.
Please disperse.
Sorry, Tim, we've taken the decision not to broadcast.
Yeah, we're not going to cover that one.
Yeah.
I don't see how that works. Getting quite a lot about the changes to the honorifics and terms that are being used at Parliament. No more.
It's pretty popular, this decision.
Oh, people love it. Good morning, boys. Regarding these changes to Parliament, I'm lost for words. So the entire Parliament identity is male and female, but they changed the wording because someone might not feel included. These guys are making this rubbish up as they go along. Sad to see this leftist ideology being forced on us. No wonder the hospitals are full of mixed up youth with psychological issues. Thank you for that, Steve. Another one here from Tony. This initiative from the SA government is woke nonsense that confuses individuals' rights with imposing their will on the whole of society. Was it the government or was it the Parliament? Was it the presiding officers? Was it the Parliament itself?
No, it was the Parliament. Yeah, it wasn't the...
Yeah, it wasn't like the Premier's idea. It was the people who run Parliament, which is the President and the Speaker.
They did do it with the support of both major parties.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, the Libs are in there supporting it. Might show the moderates are still in control.
You'd suspect in other states a Liberal opposition to make a bigger deal of it.
Yeah. I reckon if you asked Alex Antic what he thought, he might have a different view.
Yeah, I don't think he's not a firm supporter, I wouldn't have thought. All right, let's talk about the footy. Let's talk about sport over the weekend. Roey's on the line. $17 schnitty, Monday to Wednesday, the Albion, Birkenhead Tavern, Excelsior and Lighthouse Wharf. You just know it's a baroque.
Stephen Rowe on 5AA Breakfast.
Tuesday morning, a gather round, Roey. Can you feel it, as they say?
Oh, get you up, done at Pembrone. Will, good morning after a great Easter. Both our teams won. I'll just quickly start with the Crows. We'll talk about gather round. Look, it was a terrific four-quarter effort. They won every aspect of the game, FIVEAA. Everyone played their role. We know the Crows can compete. We know they're dogged. They hang in there. You've got to take the win from them. But now they're adding some real class and some skill by foot. They've got some good kickers now. And right now, I think probably the best functional front six in the AFL. Tex had 4, Rankin, Rochelle, Thilthorpe, Ned and Murphy locking it in. There's guys that need to come in there, whether it's Pedler or McAdam or Fogg, which is frightening in itself. Here's the thing I want to say. They're in the 8. Now, I know it's only 4 rounds. I'm not getting excited to play Can You Feel It? But I will about this. They've got a percentage of 105. That's their best percentage after a block of 4 games since 2017. Where they used to average 100 points a game. That's a positive, guys, a real positive.
Yeah, there's a lot of scoring options there, and there's a lot of scoring options as well that aren't in the side at the moment. Like you think about McAdam being out, and Pedler. Like Fogg. There's a lot of Fogg. There's a lot of depth, and you look at the SANFL and the thumpings that they've doled out there in the first couple of games, and there's a lot to feel good about going into the future, isn't there, Rowie?
Well, it does. It creates a lot of pressure. There's no question about that. That list is certainly building. Jake Saligo, lucky he copped a fine for that umpire touch. A lot of media buffheads in Victoria, they wanted him rubbed out. You don't get rubbed out for that.
Well, it's interesting. What's going to happen to Jeremy Cameron? Or is that just written off?
I think that was the umpire's fault, wasn't it?
Yeah. For those that didn't
footage is
see
hilarious.
it, he kicked it. Yeah, he kicked his 7th goal. He ran through the goals because it was a walk-in, Joe the Gooser. He ran around the back of the goals and he's signalling to the crowd with his arms out, looking away over his right shoulder and getting into the umpire. He's going, I reckon he said, dude, what are you doing there? Look out. I mean, it's the umpire's fault 100%, isn't it?
Yeah, the umpire was the one that was looking, should have been looking. But it seemed like Jeremy Cameron came off second best. I think he'll cop a bit of stick about that.
Oh,
but you're right. The weirdness of
it,
people sort of framing, Saligo could miss a significant period of time. A quick blush at reading the rules would have revealed to anyone interested that it was going to be a financial penalty. He doesn't get rubbed out for games for that.
Correct.
Seriously.
Correct. Hey, just on Port, I didn't give them a snowball's chance in hell versus Sydney, and at half-time, well, just before half-time, I was probably right, but gee, they dug in, they kept at it, and in the end, there's no doubt they played for their coach. I know that's a dopey comment, but
no, it's not, it's true.
It was a sensational win. Yeah, look, a season-defining one for me. It was against the odds.
I reckon Ken Hinkley...
was Aliir.
Aliir was unbelievable. He single-handedly won that game for Port, I reckon. He had about 10 intercept marks. But Ken Hinkley's character, for a bloke who I reckon probably more than half the Port fans, just basing that rough back-of-the-beer coaster stat on Port mates of mine and the sort of messages we get to the show, I reckon everyone I know in the last couple of weeks was like, oh, well, all right, maybe the Hinkley thing has to come to a head now, particularly after the showdown with the prison bars. But the character that bloke showed under that much public pressure, like imagine no other line of work brings that kind of scrutiny. If you're ever in a bad week as an accountant, no one's talking about it for 3 hours every afternoon on radio.
No.
What he did, coaching from the boundary, it showed immense character. Maybe Port fans who've been in the anti-camp will reassess their view.
Well, it's going to be interesting. We've got Treaders on again today to see where he sits with all that. Look,
well, he's one of them. People should tune in to see what he says, because it feels like some Port fans are death-riding the club. They almost want him to lose to get rid of him.
Yeah, there's no question. I reckon it's the vast majority. As I said, it keeps the Wolves at bay for another week. You wonder why I love Ken. His character, his integrity. He'll know when the time's right, and that was a great win for him, the club, and obviously for those Port knockers. They can go away for another week. Hey, it is Gather Round, starts Thursday. Hey, how exciting for SA footy. For those that forgot, no SANFL this weekend, no amateur league, no juniors. The football world stops for the big show that comes to town, all 18 clubs. I can't wait. The ticket sales have been great. They've got like a little, on Pinky Flat, a TDU village type thing. They've got zip lines. How good's this going to be? Even Caro Wilson's coming to town, and I've got to take her out for dinner, bloody Nora. But anyway, starts Thursday, Crows v Carlton. I can't wait. How exciting is it?
Yeah, we're excited, Rowie. We're sending some more people off in just a few moments' time. We're looking forward to the sports show tonight. Won't miss Treaders either. Good on you, Rowie.
Got some good stuff for after 7:30 about exactly what Rowie's talking about, what some of the local clubs are doing for Gather Round. It's going to be excellent.
$17 schnitty Monday to Wednesday at the Albion, Birkenhead Tavern, Excelsior and Lighthouse Wharf. You just know it's a Barreau hotel. More chances to win tickets too to get you to the Crows-Carlton match Thursday night at Gather Round, sitting in the 5AA locker room coming up this half hour.
Car, bus or truck window smashed, cracked, scratched or chipped? Call Complete Windscreens. For over 40 years, this family-owned SA company have given motorists a clear view of the road ahead with their 24-hour windscreen repair and replacement service. No one does it better than Hayden and Lindsay Dean at Complete Windscreens, which is the very reason you should tell your insurer you want Complete Windscreens on the job. You deserve the best, most reliable and cheapest. CompleteWindscreen.com.au.
Kenall Plumbers have been serving Adelaide homes and businesses for over 40 years, which is incredible. They must be doing something right for South Australians.
And their success is proof of Ken Hall's commitment to great service, handpicking only the best people to be part of delivering the Ken Hall way of doing business.
The Ken Hall way runs through the entire family business from the moment you pick up the phone to the completion of all works.
Ken Hall Plumbers have grown from humble beginnings to offer a greater range of trade services, now including electricians, roofers, tilers, general builders, home maintenance and full bathroom renovations.
Now, if you haven't experienced the Ken Hall service and team of trades, we'll keep them top of mind for any plumbing issues. In fact, anything to do with plumbing, electrical, roofing, tiling, home maintenance and full bathroom renovations, give Ken a call 24/7 or visit kenhallplumbers.com.au.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Showers developing in 24 with the 7:30 news. I'm Kendall Brattig. 5 people, including the gunman, have been killed in a shooting in the US. 9 more, including 2 police officers, are in hospital after a man opened fire inside a Kentucky bank he used to work at. Kentucky Mayor Craig Greenberg has thanked the officers who put themselves in the firing line to stop the shooter.
And I want to thank all of the first responders, the brave and heroic men and women of LMPD who, thanks to their efforts, quickly responded to the emergency call. Without a doubt, their actions saved lives.
Some changes to gender-specific terms in state parliament are on the way. The advertisers reporting they'll be removed from the rules of procedure affecting the Premier, the Governor and even the King. Terms like His Majesty will be replaced with the Sovereign under gender-neutral changes. John Hartley's school students will have a few extra days off this week after fire tore through classrooms over the weekend. Police are investigating the suspicious blaze, which has left a damage bill of more than $1 million at the Smithfield Plains School. And police are also investigating a car fire at Paralawi this morning. A car parked underneath the carport was engulfed in flames in Magdalena Crescent around 5:30. The Ford sedan has been completely destroyed. A police car's been pelted with petrol bombs in Northern Ireland ahead of a visit by US President Joe Biden. More from Brett McLeod.
On the 25th anniversary of the signing of the Good Friday Peace Agreement, the incident happened in Londonderry. Police were monitoring an unauthorised parade by dissident Republicans when one of their vehicles was hit by a barrage of petrol bombs thrown by masked youths. Police say no one was hurt and the car drove away. But the incident has been condemned by all sides of the political divide. It came ahead of the US President's visit to Belfast, where he'll stay less than 24 hours before heading to Ireland.
A potential Category 4 cyclone's brewing off WA's northwest. Cyclone Isla's expected to bring strong winds upwards of 200 kilometres an hour. The storm's predicted to make landfall near 80 Mile Beach later this week. Researchers want Australians who don't have a family history of Parkinson's disease to participate in a study of genetic codes. The disease is on track to surpass 12 million cases worldwide by 2040. Shake It Up Chief Clyde Campbell says they're asking for saliva samples to track different genome sequences and find better treatment options for patients.
What we're finding is there's different cohorts of people with Parkinson's. No one gets their own one single type of Parkinson's. It's a very multifaceted disease. And what we've found in previous trials is that, say, 30% of patients have had a good result with a certain treatment, 40% had mediocre and 30% had no result.
And it was a favourite of our mums and grandmothers for years, but Tupperware may soon be no more. Its shares have slumped more than 50% in the US after failing to attract younger shoppers. The 77-year-old firm's cutting staff and offloading its real estate portfolio in a bid to stay afloat. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
It's nearly tax time. Act now for immediate delivery on Mitsubishi Triton from Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Adelaide coach Matthew Nix says the club will do everything it can to support Isaac Rankin after racist remarks were directed at him on social media. Nix telling Fox Footy's AFL 360 they'll do everything they can to help him.
We sat down with Isaac as a group of players and staff, and we just made sure that Isaac was okay, and that his welfare from this point is our main concern.
The Crows are now preparing to take on Carlton in a match which kickstarts Gather Round on Thursday night. Still on footy, Hawthorn coach Sam Mitchell concedes he had no answers for Geelong's third quarter dominance. Yesterday, the Cats booted 11 consecutive goals as they set up the 82-point win, the Hawks failing to get a single inside 50 for the quarter. Mitchell says the Cats were unstoppable.
The way that they played and the complete change in the game and how we just couldn't find any answers in any way. And trying to find solutions for a young group to be able to deal with adversity like that when it comes.
To other sport now, Melbourne City has defeated Wellington Phoenix 4-1 in the A-League men's competition. The win leaves City 7 points clear of Adelaide United at the top of the table. The NBA's regular season has wrapped up. The play-in tournament will get underway tomorrow morning our time. And Australian surfers Steph Gilmore, Tyler Wright, Isabella Nichols and Molly Picklum are all into the women's quarterfinals. That's at Bells Beach. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now to the traffic.
Worried about cheap insurance? Who offers great value cover you won't regret? Amy does. Before buying insurance issued by Amy, read the PDS and TMD at amy.com.au and consider whether it's right for you.
At Fairburton, got a breakdown on James Colton Drive near Port Road. Busy in a few spots this morning, including Marion Road at Cross Road, also Cavan Road at Port Wakefield Road. Got a lane out of action at Woodville today. Woodville Road near Bower Street, speeds are down to 40 k's. And look out for work slowing things up at Wingfield, Silksbury Highway near the Wingfield ramp. Cameras Addison Road, Pennington and Bartley Terrace at Westlake Shore. Remember, chocolate and dogs don't mix. The Adelaide Animal Emergency and Referral Centre is open 24/7 every day over Easter. Visit aaerc.com.au. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Grab your Macca's sharing footy at Footy Festival. Macca's, official partners for the AFL Gather Round.
Showers developing today, heading for 24, a shower or two tomorrow, 20, partly cloudy Thursday, 22, and mostly sunny Friday, 25. At the moment, 16. More news as it happens on 5AA.
At Anderson Solicitors, putting people first is second nature. No matter who you are or what your problem is, we are committed to helping find the right solution for you every time. With locations across the state, whether you need help with family law, commercial law, wills and estates or personal injury claims, talk to Andersons today. Visit andersons.com.au or phone 8238 6666. Andersons Solicitors. People first in every case.
At Bob Burns Blinds, you get more. More choice, more style, more service. And for a limited time, even more savings. Right now, the more curtains and blinds you buy, the more discount you'll receive at Bob Burns Blinds. Quick installation, high quality materials, an extensive product range, and first-rate service. That's gotta leave you feeling more-ish. Don't wait. Buy more, save more. Right now at Bob Burns Blinds. Book your free measure and quote today at bobburnsblinds.com.au. Conditions apply.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Test drive the incredible Cherry Emotive 5 today at Cherry Glen Osmond from 33k drive away. Go Cherry.
21 minutes to 8. If you're watching along in the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream, you note the dude has just made his way into the studio, getting comfortable. Talk to him in a moment about the Crows winning at Fremantle on the weekend. But
I
also,
like the fact that when the dude came through the door, he didn't use his hand, he used his foot. He just sort of kicked the door. Came in full Rene Higuita style, the original El Loco.
It's we're going to be speaking a little bit about the old scorpion kick. Don't worry about that. That's coming up very, very shortly. The other thing the dude's going to be doing today, beyond scorpion kicks, is judging the next round of tickets we've got for the Gather Round, all thanks to Macca's, where we are giving away 2 double passes to Crows Carlton Thursday night. So stay listening, and the Dude will judge the winners very, very shortly. Let's start, though, with some federal political news, starting with Jim Chalmers, who is off to the US tomorrow. He will attend the G20 Finance Minister and Central Bank Governors meetings. Was talking on the Today Show just a short time ago, 4 weeks out from handing down the federal budget.
The global situation has become a bit more complex and a bit more uncertain. So I will be joining my colleagues and counterparts from around the G20 and the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank later this week in Washington, D.C. And the whole point of that visit is to take the temperature really of the global economy at a really key time as we put the finishing touches on the budget. Yeah, I think the Australian people understand that we've got a lot of pressures on the budget. Whether it's the cost of servicing that $1 trillion in Liberal debt, whether it's healthcare costs, the NDIS, aged care, defence, all of these are putting pressure on the budget. And so what we need to do is to work through all of those pressures in a methodical way, make sure the budget is as responsible and sustainable as it can be, and that's the work that's happening right now.
When he talks about those changing international pressures, you get the sense he, like Philip Lowe, and a lot of people, Reserve Bank governors and people in the finance communities right around the world were incredibly spooked when those 2 banks in California collapsed, and indeed Credit Suisse had to be bought out of its debt recently. That changed a little bit of the RBA's thinking. They said that in their most recent statement about interest rates, but it sounds like Jim Chalmers too just wants to get a bit more information, because everyone wants to get inflation under control. And whilst our banks are strong, we saw 15 years ago what happens when things go haywire. And one of the things Philip Lowe said, I saw this at the luncheon he spoke at the other day, the Press Club luncheon in Canberra, was that bank runs in 2023 look a lot different than they did in 1923 or 1928 when we had the Great Depression. Because now it all happens in an instant. You want to take your money out, you rip out your phone out of your pocket and bang. There's no lining up.
Everyone's out.
Everyone's out.
I think the more unnerving thing is a lot of what he was saying then sounds like a pre-budget softening up exercise, all those things that are becoming increasingly unsustainable. The only way you're going to be able to pay for them is by having fewer services or higher taxes.
Yep, and rein in spending, you certainly get that sense. Speaking of the international situation, Senator Simon Birmingham from here in South Australia was on Sky a short time ago talking about whether the Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, should go to the next NATO meeting in Lithuania. He was invited along, but he's weighing it, the opportunity to be heard at a NATO event against the criticism of any danger you might spend some time in Australia. Here's Simon Birmingham.
Prime Minister should be seizing the opportunity to engage with our NATO partners and allies across the board, seizing the opportunity as well to make sure that Australia's commitment to Ukraine in its war against Russia is wholesome and complete in terms of providing another clear and substantial package of support, of military assistance, of humanitarian assistance and of other practical support for the Ukrainian people. Their efforts have been nothing short of heroic in defence of the illegal and immoral invasion by Russia, and we really do need to see Ukraine continued to be supported. And if the Prime Minister is going to go, as he should, then he should go well prepared to make sure that our position continues to be one of the leading non-NATO contributors.
I don't understand this debate. I don't know why. We're not in the North Atlantic, we're in the South Pacific, and we're best friends, as confirmed spectacularly by AUKUS, with the 2 key members of NATO, Great Britain and the United States.
The argument for it would be, if you don't have a seat at the table, there's a risk that all these continental European countries say, you know what, we've got enough issues, mainland Europe right now, we're not getting involved in anything Pacific-wise. We're not.
Yeah, okay, I see that.
That would be the argument in favour of. So the current state of play is there's an invitation that's been extended. The federal government are waiting to accept it or not. So that's where things currently sit.
Let's talk about footy.
I'm the dude, so that's what you call me. You know, that or his dudeness or duder or El Duderino if you're not into the whole brevity thing.
Thanks to Leader Computers, Australia's largest owned PC manufacturer based right here in Adelaide. Riley McGree's from here in Adelaide. He got nominated for a Puskas Award, as did Alu Kuol recently. Australians have done well. I'm not sure they've ever nominated someone from outside the world of soccer for one, but if they're going to, it'll happen out of the weekend with the dudes. What would you describe it as? Just take us through the moment.
Yeah, all right, so basically I'm arms are pinned, I'm being held on the goal line, should have been a free kick, but that's besides the point. Can't get my arms out, it's going to be a certain goal, how do I stop it? I basically just throw the leg out and did my best to get something onto it to make sure that it was touched or kicked through, and ended up hitting it in a pretty sweet spot. And
I like the fact that you were laughing hysterically pretty much in real time as it was happening. You're just like, oh, well, it's so funny.
I think you take yourself a bit too seriously. People can on the footy field a lot of the time, but if you think you're doing that regularly and there's no luck involved in that, and you're running off as if you're fine, then yeah, it's not exactly I don't know. You got to have a bit of fun on the footy field, and there was a bit of luck involved in that. So,
have you heard a call of it yet?
No, I haven't. I've been prepared that there's potentially a pretty good call from Rowie coming in.
Here we go.
Gave it to Henry, right foot snap at goals, curling back, going back. Oh! That's amazing there from Tom Duday. It was going through, it was the old Robina, which you use in soccer where you go the back heel.
Isn't it the Scorpion?
Or it might have been the Scorpion. I'm not sure. The Robina might be the penalty take.
Yeah.
I've got my terminologies mixed up.
It was the old Scorpion, I reckon.
Amazing.
That's great.
Randy got it wrong twice there.
Yeah, come on, Randy. Come on, Randy.
It was pioneered by a man who was known as El Loco, the crazy one, Rene Higuita, the Colombian goalie in the 1990s, who actually was a childhood friend of Pablo Escobar. Grew up with him in Medellin.
Good connection to have, that guy.
Did you? Exactly. I reckon it was the first time in AFL history that an inconsequential rush behind received an applause. Did you get that sense?
Yeah, well, that's also what made me laugh. Is like when I hit it, I didn't know where it went, and then I heard the crowd cheer, and I went, "Well, obviously I've done something here." And then I sort of run away, and then like I think Dorse come over and said like that was effing unreal, and I was just like running back, going like laughing, going like, "Did I just actually kick that ball?" But bizarrely in primary school, I used to always like the ball would go wide, and I'd like with a soccer ball, I'd like chicken wing it, like kick the leg out and stuff. Like, I did it like just
Backwards.
randomly because I was a bit of a weirdo. And then who would have thought that it would come in handy in an AFL game to stop a goal one day?
Well, it was a hugely important goal to stop though, because it would have got them to within 4 goals. Like, and they were coming for a while, Freo in the third.
Yeah, I've been informed on that. I don't really remember. It's all a blur. It was such a big moment for me, and it was honestly just. I didn't really remember the score or anything, but it was just one of those moments where, like, a lot of the stuff that happens on the field is just pure instinct. Like in terms of, like, I gave away a free kick in the first quarter where I just ran, sprinted the ball, thought I was going to mark it. It went over my head, and I just took the bloke out like that. If you watch the replay, it looks terrible, but in the moment, it made a lot of sense to me because you blur out sometimes, but. Yeah, all right, we've had a pretty good chat about it. We can move on to another thing. I'll cop that much crap for carrying on about this for another week.
At the end of the game, we were there on Saturday. My wife said, well, that was kind of a boring win. And I thought it was a great way of assessing where the Crows are at. It feels like a milestone. I can't remember the last boring win the Adelaide Football Club had where you felt like the better team the whole time, professionally beat a side that you looked significantly better than. It was relaxing and not surprising. There was no part of you that went, oh, hang on, we might actually win a game here. It was, oh, no, this is sort of where we're at. Did you guys, do you feel that at all in terms of the progress that's being made? There are teams you now should beat, can beat, and will beat. And that's a far cry from where it's been.
Yeah, it's a great way to put it. We were pretty confident going into the game. Obviously, beating them over in Perth the way we did was handy, but I think we just had a good feeling that our game plan and the way we wanted to play could neutralise the way they wanted to play. And that first quarter was obviously pretty good football. Second quarter was even better. And then I think in the most pleasing part was we sort of come in after the game and we sort of spoke through the fourth quarter, and we were talking about how it was a bit random and we didn't get our kill spoils in the back line. Up forward, we were probably trying to do a bit too much, and mids were going for kicks they shouldn't have. Like, it was a win, and it was a good win, and we weren't trying to take away from that, but we were like, hey, we could have won by more there. We conceded too many goals late, and we probably could have won by a bigger margin and done it better our way. And that's probably the maturity of this group, going from like, oh my God, we just beat Freo and AO, how good's that? To being like, hey, we could have done better there.
So, Tom, we've got Gather Round Fever. Our listeners have got Gather Round Fever, thanks to our great friends at McDonald's. Delicious hamburgers. Love them. We're giving away tickets shortly. But you guys, is this just another round for you? Or have you got a bit of Gather Round Fever as well? Like, is it something where, are you going to go to any of the other games? Are you going to catch up with any of your mates from Victoria who are going to be over here playing? Or is it just all head down, bum up, we just got to beat Carlton Thursday night?
Yeah, at the moment I think it's just that.
Yeah, right, okay.
Yeah, I don't know about
so no wine
fever.
tasting in the Adelaide Hills, or
no
trips to,
Well, we do have
Vales?
the weekend off, so I'll deal with that when it comes to it. But I think because of the short turnaround, you sort of haven't had that time. Maybe if we were playing on a Saturday or Sunday, you'd be like, all right, how am I going to fill my Thursday and Friday, and see if any of the boys that I played with at Vic Country or Falcons are coming over, any of that stuff. But I think at this stage, like, because it's such a short turnaround, we're playing on a Thursday when usually that's our day off. That's your final bit of recovery.
Which is
before
why
you
you're
get
here
into it.
today, on a
Yeah,
Tuesday.
why I'm in here, which is just bizarre, isn't it? It's just a weird feeling. But
Yeah.
no, we're sort of that focused on Carlton. We'll get through that. We'll catch up Friday and go through all that stuff, finish our appearances, and then Saturday, Sunday off. So that's when I'll start thinking
Pretty
about
cool that
the festival of footy.
Carlton up there, top of the table, 3 wins, 1 draw, no losses, and people in all seriousness are saying Adelaide are a big chance of winning.
Yeah, well, I've spoken about it with you guys the last couple of years, going from that hope to win to expect to win, and we're starting to take big steps in that regard, and this is just another opportunity because they're a pretty good outfit, but it's going to be tough.
Can we apply that formula of words that you so often say with us to finals now? How we move from hoping to make finals to expecting to make finals?
No, I'll let you guys do that. I'm not gonna get roped into it.
Create a rod for your own back.
Exactly.
One game at a time.
One game at a time, 1 week
You
at a time.
definitely
Hey, we're just trying to get better each week. It's all about the 1%ers. Yeah.
You know what? I'm just
It's a
going
game of
You
two
ask
halves.
questions.
Yeah, that was 3
You ask
cliches.
questions like that, I'll give you cliche answers. That's how it works here.
Okay. Well, you're issuing threats now. That's good.
Yep.
You definitely kicked that one away.
Pembo, go on to the next segment.
El Loco. El Loco.
It
I
was
can't believe Rennie got it wrong twice.
What an incredible moment by all involved, it sounds like. Now, speaking of which, it is the inspiration for our tickets to give away to the Footy Festival to gather around Thursday night, sold out. These are not just tickets. You're not going to be sitting up in the nosebleeds, with a scarf on, hoping that you see a great moment, hoping you get to see the dude do a scorpion kick. What you'll actually get is FIVEAA locker room tickets, which includes a drinks package. You're the absolute
people with
creme
palm
de la
fronds.
creme.
People will be waving palm fronds.
Well,
over you as you sip mint juleps.
Pembo will be.
Having canapes ferried to you.
Feeding grapes.
I'll turn up.
We can organise that.
Pure grapes.
In the spirit of the scorpion kick, dude, which I know you'd like us to extend the segment to talk about.
Please.
We want to know from you on 8223 0055 what's the most unexpected thing you've done that ended up working out perfectly? The most unexpected thing you've ever done that ended up working out perfectly. Let us know on 8223 0055.
Calls after the break, but this is for Crows fans, Carlton fans.
You want to get along to the gather around Thursday night?
Anyone who wants to go,
dude. Can you hang around and judge it? You being
gladly
Puska nominated footballer, scorpion kick extraordinaire.
It is a difficult question. I'm trying to think of obviously outside of my recent examples something, but.
You're the inspiration, mate. You don't need to come up with another example.
I don't need to call in and ask for tickets.
No, you'll be right.
There's a good text from Rob on the Duttons text line. Wants to know, will everything the dude now does be done with a scissor kick, e.g. putting the dishes out, passing the salt, loading the shopping cart?
No.
All right, we'll check traffic. Come back with some of your entries
3 days ago.
in just a moment.
Thanks, Will, at Theberton. Still got that breakdown there, James Colton Drive near Port Road. No great dramas, but keep it in mind if you're heading that way. We're busy at the moment, South Road at Mile End, also Cross Road at Unley Road. Got a lane out of action at Woodville Road near Bower Street, speeds around at 40 k's, and slow going for works at Wingfield. It's on the Salisbury Highway near the Wingfield ramp. Cameras, Addison Road, Pennington, and Hart Streets at Semaphore. Did you know it took 21 attempts to create Guzmani Gomez's perfectly crunchy corn chips, which are made fresh in store every day? Look up hashtag GYG Did You Know for more. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Hello, I'm Lynn Andrews. For over 50 years, we have specialised in commercial and residential property management. But above all, we specialise in people, helping to make life easy for property investors and the tenants of their properties. Everyone is treated with integrity and respect. That's the Lynn Andrews way. For commercial and residential property management, we are here to help. Visit lynnandrews.com.au.
Speak with One Solution and they'll tell you cybercrime is not a big business problem, a government problem, or a small enterprise problem. It's everyone's problem. Ransomware, malware, and adware remain the #1 threat. One call to One Solution will put your business in a safe place. It's the smartest, most cost-effective business decision you'll ever make. Get in touch with One Solution, winner of the National Telstra Customer Experience Award. onesolution.net.au.
Is there anything better than a dip in your own pool on a hot summer day? Sure, pools can take a bit of time and money, but it is worth it. But during winter, when you're not using it, it can feel like a real drain.
So do the right thing. Put your pool to bed for winter with a Walco Guardian pool cover. It'll preserve your chemicals, keep your water clean, and you won't need your pump. And just think about all the money you'll save by not running the pump for hours every day.
Then, as soon as the warm weather returns, just peel off your Walco Guardian pool cover and you are ready to dive right in. No green and gooey swamp. It'll be clear and cool and ready to take on another big summer.
Get your pool a Walco Guardian for winter now. Check out their website, walco.com.au.
Hi, Katie Bridges here, market lead at FIVEAA. The Vinnie's CEO Sleepout is back, June 22nd at the home of tennis in SA, The Drive. 2023 will mark my third time sleeping out. I keep coming back to the Vinnie's CEO Sleepout because everyone deserves a safe place to call home, and I know the funds we raise are in good hands with Vinnie's. If you're a business or community leader who cares about our community like I do, don't drop the ball. Sign up now at ceosleepout.org.au.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
The Cherry Motor 5 offers state-of-the-art driving from 33k drive away. Visit Cherry Glen Osmond.
Dude in the studio with us judging the this hour's gather round tickets, thanks to Macca's 2 doubles. Like the dude, when you've done something expected that worked out for the best. Darren in Golfview Heights, good morning.
How you going, fellas?
Tell us your story, Darren.
Well, it was a bit of a nocturnal activity with my wife, and the protection sort of didn't work. Went to the chemist the next morning for the morning after pill, and now I've got a 24-year-old son.
Not what I was expecting, Darren, to kick us off this morning. I'm glad you're the judge, dude. I guess that's a beautiful story if you think about it in the long view, through the long lens of history.
Live radio.
Terry in Elizabethvale, what's your story?
Clear front runner.
Well, about 32 years ago, I saw this vision standing at the end of the bar, so I got the barmaid to take her down to drink. While she was doing that, I shoved five straws up each nostril, so when this bird looked at me, I looked like a friggin' walrus. And my nose started bleeding because the straws cut my nose, and 32 years later, I'm married to her and got 2 kids from her.
What a charmer.
I think that's what they call presenting in the animal kingdom.
I would suggest that's the only time in history that's ever worked. Good on you,
never
Terry.
Never fail manoeuvre, that one.
Natasha and Seaford, good morning.
Only if you go to the right pubs.
I'm sorry, my stories aren't as funny, but about 15 years ago, me and my friend came to Adelaide on a holiday. We loved it so much. We went back home to Queensland, quit our jobs, come down with one paycheck, and we've both been here now 15 years, married with kids, and live here very happily.
Now, that's nice.
That's
and it's also a bit more PG rated as well,
Yes.
Natasha. It was a return to good taste there.
No straws up the nose.
No,
too.
exactly. No
Always a bit more
pharmacy
clean.
visits. Exactly.
Let's take one more. Mark in Edwardstown, good morning.
G'day, gentlemen. How are we?
Good, thanks, mate.
Yeah, unfortunately, no straws up the nose or pregnancy tests here for me either. When I was a young fella at school, I was playing the tree in a school play, and my tree toppled over, and I knocked over the star performer. They fell down, and the whole crowd thought that was part of the play. Everyone stood up and gave a rounding, big round of applause, and I'd accidentally knocked out the star performer. So didn't mean it to happen, but ended up being an absolute beauty.
Oh, that's a tremendous
The
story,
tree.
Mark. Well, I would suggest, putting it mildly, that was an eclectic group of stories.
Diverse.
Dude,
We love that.
who are we sending together round?
A little bit of recency bias, but I do like the tree story.
Yes.
Just for something different.
Mark in Edwardstown.
Mark in Edwardstown, congratulations, because I've never been in a play, but I can imagine that would have been confronting, and then to get the cheering would have been wonderful. And then I can't go. I'm picking 2, aren't I?
You are picking 2.
I can't go past the first one. As much as it was a little bit above PG, that made me laugh a lot. And I didn't know where it was going, but we got there in the end.
Family origin story.
Mark and Darren.
That was
Mark
superb.
from Edwardstown, Darren from Golfview Heights.
Well, you're going to love it, you two, because you're all off to the excellent 5AA Rock Locker Room. Thanks to Macca's, official partners of the AFL Gather Round. Kick your way down to the Footy Festival and grab yourself a Macca's. Sharon, I'm loving it. Dude, thank you for judging. Thank you for sticking around.
I'm enjoying this weekly judging stuff.
Yeah, this is good. You might become a regular thing.
Yeah. I feel bad, the 2 people that don't get to go, though. That's the only bad thing about judging.
yeah,
I don't think I could ever do it for a living, but weekly every now and then, What's it matter?
Yeah, absolutely.
Add it to your new repertoire, mate.
Yeah.
Of zany manoeuvres.
Yeah. Are you still going to go on about this, though? Am I going to come in next week and it's going to be the first thing?
No.
It's quite possible.
Depends what you do Thursday night.
Yeah, true. I'm self-deprecating you, but I just keep going.
Let's start juggling footballs or something.
Keep pumping it up.
Best of luck Thursday night. We'll catch you next week.
Hopefully with another win.
We're going to have John Blake coming up after 5AA News after 8 o'clock. So if you're waiting to hear from Blakey, it's not too far away. The Gather Round tickets, though, the third time we're giving them away, and it's not too far away either. All thanks to Macca's. Next hour on the program, 2 more doubles coming someone's way.
It's hard to believe, but Buy Urban bathrooms and kitchens may not be everyone's cup of tea. If you're not fussed by sticky drawers, if you're not driven mad by something that doesn't quite line up, if you don't appreciate millimetre-perfect craftsmanship and service of the highest standard, then maybe Buy Urban bathrooms and kitchens is not for you. But if those things are important, buyurban.com.au, Adelaide's home renovation experts.
You've decided to build? It's exciting stuff. When you've found land, it's a good idea to get advice on what you can build on your new parcel of paradise. Get Steve from Beechwood Homes to take a look. There's no obligation, and you'll get a great understanding of what's possible. Sloping block, flat block, weird shaped block, or block on a cliff. Speak with Steve from Beechwood Homes for all the possibilities. Life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home. Google Beechwood Adelaide.
As we all know, SA is going through a housing crisis right now, but McGain Real Estate are trying to help as best they can.
That's what they do at McGain's. If you're a landlord looking to sell but you're feeling guilty about disrupting a great tenant, McGain want to help. They've got landlords ready to buy your property and keep that excellent tenant in place.
McGain have hundreds of landlords ready to buy investment properties right now, so there's no need to stress about asking the tenant to move out or waiting for the lease to end. These astute buyers know the value of a good tenant and want to keep them in place and happy.
And with these investment buyers ready to go, you could save thousands on marketing, making it a win-win.
There's a reason you see signs popping up everywhere saying, sold by McGain again. Visit mcgain.com.au.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio, and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Showers developing in 24 with the 8 o'clock news. I'm Kendall Brettig. America has been rocked by yet another mass shooting. More from Alison Petrowski.
The gunman opened fire with an AR-15 inside the Old National Bank in Louisville at 8:30 a.m. local time. Police responded within 3 minutes and exchanged fire with the shooter. 5 died at the scene, including the gunman. 9 other people are receiving treatment in hospital. 2 of those are critical, including a police officer. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear says 2 of his close friends were among those killed.
We've got to wrap our arms around these families.
Police believe the lone gunman was a former employee of the bank. This is the 146th mass shooting in America this year.
A man broke his leg while trying to jump over a fence at Holden Hill overnight to get away from police. He was found in a rear yard and taken to the RAH for treatment. Senior Constable Rebecca Stokes says police had been called to Judith Avenue after reports of people rifling through cars.
A 21-year-old man and a 24-year-old man, they've both been arrested for outstanding matters, including breach of bail and warrant. They refused police bail and will face court today, and we're still investigating the car break-ins in the area.
And a Ford sedan was completely destroyed by fire at Paralawi this morning. It was parked under a carport in the driveway of a Magdalena Crescent home. Police are investigating the suspicious blaze. State Parliament is set to become the next institution to adopt gender-neutral terms. The Advertiser's reporting it follows recommendations by a parliamentary committee and will bring us into line with federal government guidelines. It'll affect the Premier, King and Governor, with he and she becoming they. Australian students have a stronger academic average, but some are struggling under the radar. Jessica Clancy reports.
Children who come from poorer families, live in the bush or are Indigenous are 3 times more likely to fall behind at school. The latest OECD report reveals while 95% of students nationwide meet NAPLAN reading and numeracy standards, that number drops to 80% in the Northern Territory. The results suggest while the country performs well when compared with other OECD nations, a strong academic average may be masking varied results across states and territories.
Treasurer Jim Chalmers will fly to the US tomorrow with the Reserve Bank Governor to attend the G20 finance ministers and central bank governors meetings. He's told Today Labor's already shown it's prepared to trim spending where necessary.
We have indicated we will be trimming spending further in the May budget, but that's so that we can make room to fund the things that we value, whether it's healthcare or aged care, the NDIS, protecting our borders and our national security. These are important priorities for a budget.
The coronation of King Charles will be held on Saturday, May the 6th, with preparations well underway. But UK correspondent Adam Gilchrist says there'll be 2 members of the royal family who won't appear on the Buckingham Palace balcony.
It doesn't look like there'll be any non-working royals up there, so that's Prince Andrew and Prince Harry, both out. But we also don't know even if Harry and Meghan will pitch up at all. We know they've had the invitation because they shared it with the world, but they haven't said whether or not they're coming.
And Oscar winner Hilary Swank is a mum to twins. The 48-year-old has announced she and husband Philip Schneider have welcomed a boy and a girl. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
It's nearly tax time. Act now for immediate delivery on Mitsubishi Triton from Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Adelaide's players will train today as they look to build on their momentum, which has seen them claim back-to-back wins and surge inside the top 8. Expectations are building for the Crows, with many experts rating them a big chance of beating the undefeated Carlton on Thursday night. Defender Tom Doedee telling David and Will handling that expectation is all part of the team's growth.
Well, I've spoken about it with you guys the last couple of years, going from that hope to win to expect to win, and we're starting to take big steps in that regard, and this is just another opportunity because they're a pretty good outfit, but it's going to be tough.
And round 4 wrapped up yesterday with Geelong smashing Hawthorn by 82 points. To cricket now, Glenn Maxwell and Marcus Stoinis have turned it on in the IPL for their respective sides with half-centuries. Maxwell smashed 59 off only 29 balls for the Royal Challengers Bangalore, but the Lucknow Super Giants got home off the final ball thanks largely to a brilliant 65 off only 30 balls from Stoinis. To tennis, and Alex de Minaur has made a blistering start to his clay court season, dropping only 4 games against Andy Murray to move into the second round of the Monte Carlo Masters. De Minaur understandably delighted with his form.
Look, extremely happy, especially being my first match on clay. It was never going to be easy, but I was really happy with the way I started the match and almost finished the match.
Audio there thanks to Fox. 1 game in the NRL to wrap up round 6 with the Parramatta Eels just getting past the West Tigers 28-22. And today marks 100 days until the Women's World Cup kicks off. The final tickets for the event go on sale today. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Worried about cheap insurance? Who offers great value cover you won't regret? Amy does. Before buying insurance issued by Amy, read the PDS and TMD at amy.com.au and consider whether it's right for you.
At Woodville, look out for a smash on Hanson Road near 9th Avenue. Theberton, breakdown on James Coulter Drive near Port Road. Busy in a few spots, including South Road at Mile End, also Cross Road at Unley Road. And look out for works this morning at Woodville, lane closed there, Woodville Road near Bower Street. Cameras today, Yorktown Road, Elizabeth Park and Lady Gowrie Drive at Taparoo. Spend over $250 and save $25. Spend $500 and save $50 with the IKEA Loyalty Club Members Spend and Save offer. Shop now at IKEA. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Kick-off Footy Festival with Maccas, official partners for the AFL Gather Round. I'm loving it.
Showers developing this afternoon, heading for 24. A shower or two tomorrow, 20. Partly cloudy on Thursday, 22. And mostly sunny Friday, 25. At the moment, 16. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Test drive the incredible Cherry Motor 5 today at Cherry Glen Osmond from 33k drive away. Go Cherry.
8 minutes after 8 is safe hole advice you don't get to start too many hours with. Sydney Crescent is closed between Ferris Street and the Esplanade at Christie's Beach due to a sinkhole in the road.
A sinkhole?
There's a sinkhole. Now, that's behind the Christie's Beach, the caravan park there, the tourist park. So it's essentially the road that wraps around the back part of the caravan park. If anyone's in the area and can give us an eyewitness account of what this sinkhole looks like, so the road's closed, you won't be able to drive through it.
You'd think it would be a sand sinkhole, not mud. Like, where's the water? Well, unless it's some underground water thing.
Yeah,
How bizarre.
Yeah, it is totally bizarre. But if you're in the area, we'd love to hear from you. 8223 0000 is the number. Right now, it's time for John Blake, thanks to Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, interstate freight, distribution, warehousing, and local LA couriers. Call Aussie Fast on 13 13 64.
At Home with David and Kate.
Living at home with a great big family, a journalist and politician. Home with David and Kate. Chorizo sausage with cock of and crock monsieurs for breakfast at home with David and Kate.
Hello, Daddy.
G'day, everybody. How's it going?
Good, Daddy.
You excited about Easter?
Yes.
Why are you excited?
Because we get Easter eggs.
Far out. There's a lot more to Easter than just getting Easter eggs.
What? Yeah.
Well, it's an incredible story that's had a big influence on a lot of people.
Tell us the story, Daddy. Yeah.
You want to hear the story of Easter?
Yes, please, Daddy.
Okay, sit down on the floor with your legs crossed.
Yes, Daddy.
The story of Easter goes back a long, long way. And it's all about a good bloke who changed millions of lives.
What was his name?
Well, you've probably heard it before. His name was Colin Hayes. And he was born many years ago in a stable. Well, it felt like a stable because he loved horses.
We like horses too. Yeah.
Yes, but in the 1970s, Colin Hayes was crucified. Well, he copped a lot of flack because he went out and bought a cheap horse and told everybody it was going to be a champion, but they didn't believe him. And that horse was Dulcify. And it became a champion just as Colin had prophesied.
But, Daddy, what is Easter for?
Well, it's so that people can have 4 days off and go to Oakbank for horse races. And one day, Colin mounted a horse and told everybody he was going to train really good horses. And that's why you might have heard it called the Sermon on the Mount.
Yeah, and he fed the multitudes with 5 loaves and 2 fishes.
Well, a lot of people do like to go fishing at Easter time, and every Easter thousands of revellers go on a pilgrimage to Oakbank. And they eat bread and wine in commemoration. Although these days it's more canapes and wine, maybe a bit of foie gras.
What's a canapé, Daddy?
I think it's the thing you stand under when it rains at Oakbank. Anyway, all the people have trouble rising on the 3rd day.
Why?
Because they feel really crook from the Monday at Oakbank. But Easter is also a very religious time, and we live in the city of churches. And what's the pointy bit on the top of a church called?
The steeple!
That's right, and that's why they used to have a race called the steeplechase at Oakbank.
Wow!
But a lot of people made them get rid of that.
Why?
Because they were known as Philistines. And you might have also heard people talk about the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost.
Yeah, I've heard that, me too.
Well, that's the old-fashioned way of saying trifecta.
At home with David and Kate.
Well, I can almost guarantee that conversation didn't happen at your place.
No, it certainly did not.
I did like the bit that you were listening to, I think it was All Along the Watchtower by Jimi Hendrix in the background at the start. That I can imagine. All right, it's time for Breaking at 8.
Well, a massive and excellent story is going to break here tomorrow, which further cements Adelaide's reputation as a health and medicine centre. Now, you will have seen all of the activity continuing around the Samri, particularly next door to the Samri. That's the Bragg Centre, the Australian Bragg Centre, that tomorrow there's going to be what's called a topping out ceremony where it reaches its full height. It's 15 floors high, but the most important part of the building is underground, because what's happening there is the proton therapy unit. Now, this is going to be an absolute cutting edge and revolutionary new treatment for people who are suffering from cancer. Proton therapy is amazing stuff, because the highly targeted nature of proton beam therapy means that you can be much more precise in terms of dealing with tumours that are near important physical structures such as the brain, the spinal cord, or the eyes. Now, the people who are behind the building itself, Commercial and General, they've got a great record here in terms of delivering excellent health infrastructure, most obviously Calvary Adelaide, biggest private hospital ever built in SA. And the executive chairman of Commercial and General, Jamie McClurg, is as proud as punch, and rightly so, about this latest project. Jamie's on the line. Mate, this is such great news for SA, great news for Commercial and General, but most importantly, great news for people who are fighting cancer, who currently don't have anywhere in Australia where they can get this kind of treatment.
Yeah, well, thanks, guys. I think it's really something to celebrate.
So, in terms of the actual building, it's quite an engineering feat, isn't it? Like, it's because dealing with these protons, like the building's got to be super stable. Walk us through some of the sort of engineering aspects of it.
Well, probably, the first thing to mention, I think, is that it's all done with sub-millimetre accuracy. So I think people will get a chance tomorrow to see what this bunker looks like. It's a $100 million bit of concrete that sits under the ground with big massive walls, and we'll give all the stats on that tomorrow. But it's something that's never been done before in the Southern Hemisphere, and we're pretty proud on the fact that, it's been, poured and placed and delivered by a great local team.
And in terms of, like, it's actually like an economic story too, isn't it? Because there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be coming here for this kind of service, and having it sort of dovetail in with the work that the universities are doing as well. It really does put us in a sort of cutting-edge position, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, proton therapy can be used not only for treatment, but it can be used for research as well. So depending on how the government wants to flex the machine, so to speak, it can be used for many things. But I think it's certainly going to be an attractor. Obviously, most people are aware that it is the only one in the Southern Hemisphere at this stage. So I think that that'll be a big attractor. For us, it's been a pretty long journey. I started the journey in 2016, I think, from memory, and we actually started building it right at the start of COVID. So it's been interesting to sort of see that through and get now the building topped out.
Well, it's going to be a big story when it's all unveiled tomorrow. Jamie McClurg, thanks for joining us, Executive Chairman of Commercial and General. Excellent story.
Fantastic story. I got some fantastic news as well for those that have been eagerly awaiting Lucy's review of The Life of Brian. That's coming up in just a few moments on 5AA Breakfast. Also, in the good news department, we've been rummaging around the Gather Round ticket box for Thursday night. We've given away 4 doubles already on the program so far. We've actually found 3 more.
Oh, really?
So we've got 3 doubles that we're going to be giving away after 8:30 this morning, all thanks to the generosity of Macca's. They must have just tossed in an extra one for us.
On your Macca's.
Official partners of the AFL Gather Round. Kick your way down to Footy Festival to grab your Macca's share in footy. I'm loving it. So that's coming up after 8:30. 3 doubles to the locker room, drinks package and all the fanfare laid on for you for the Thursday night Crows Carlton fixture. And a reminder, it's not just today that we're in the Gather Round giving spirit. We've got doubles to give away each hour, every hour of the week for all the games.
Yep.
We're just starting with Crows Carlton because it's the first one, but we'll get to the others.
And that includes the sellouts. That includes the big ones.
Absolutely. And the double headers.
Sydney, Richmond.
It's going to be incredible. Let's check traffic and come back with that movie review in just a few moments' time. Build with Fairmont now and receive luxury upgrades at no extra cost. Visit fairmonthomes.com.au.
Thanks, Will. At Woodville, got a smash on Hanson Road near 9th Avenue. Penfield, another collision there. This one's on the north-south motorway near Eastleigh Road. Delays outbound. And Leeward Gardens got a breakdown on the freeway up track just before the tunnels. Busy at the moment, South Road at Mile End with cameras Main North Road, Smithfield, and Mawson Lakes Boulevard at Mawson Lakes. Aussie-owned, the Lottery Office has a massive $661 million up for grabs in the USA Mega Lotto. Visit lotteryoffice.com.au now before it's gone. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Need a forklift? Don't just get a forklift, get a Toyota forklift. Toyota is the world's #1 forklift brand with a great range of pallet jacks, walkie stackers and reach forklifts right up to their leading Toyota counterbalance forklifts. Legendary reliability and safety with cleaner, greener electric options, Toyota can tailor the right forklift solution for you. It's all part of the Toyota forklift advantage. For more, visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au. Get a Toyota forklift.
Adelaide Direct Stationers is more than just stationery. We're one of SA's largest suppliers of tech products, washroom products, PPE, workplace health and safety equipment, office furniture, food, snacks, beverages and much more. We have all your office and business needs in one place, with free next day delivery on orders over $50, plus same day 2-hour express delivery. Adelaide Direct Stationers, serving SA's largest businesses and a preferred government supplier. Visit adelaidedirectstationers.com.au.
Now, I find this hard to believe, Will. Every time we read this message, it leaves me scratching my head. Bio-urban bathrooms and kitchens, they might not be everyone's cup of tea.
I know. You can
Drives
imagine
me
the
mad.
type of person. You know,
Slobs.
the kind of people that aren't fussed by sticky drawers. You know, no big issue. People that don't care if there's something that doesn't quite line up. But look at that bench; it's all skew-if.
Why is my coffee cup sliding downwards towards the floor?
If you're someone who doesn't really care about millimetre perfect craftsmanship and the highest service standards, then maybe bio-urban bathrooms and kitchens is not for you.
However, if those things are important and you would like to live in a kitchen or with a kitchen and a bathroom, you can live in the kitchen if you want.
You could live in a bio-urban kitchen.
That's right. Speak with Coxie and his incredible team at Bio-urban Bathrooms and Kitchens.
And remember, it's not just about the amazing results. How you get there that really sets Bio-urban Bathrooms and Kitchens apart from everyone else. biourban.com.au, Adelaide's home renovation experts.
If you need to fix your pipes, call Precise. Call Precise. If your toilet's blocking up, call Precise. Call Precise. If your lights aren't turning on, or your hot water is gone, or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Precise.
Precise Plumbing and Electrical. Call 1300 700 200. That's 1300 700 200. Precise Plumbing and Electrical. Local and experienced trade specialists.
Or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Call Precise.
It's a frightening thought, but what if you lost the capacity to manage your financial affairs? If you're not at the helm, who makes medical or health decisions? Who controls the family trust? From the simplest to the most complex wills and estate plans, Donlan Lawyers will answer your questions and help carry out your wishes. For wills and estate planning, visit donlanlawyers.com. That's donlanlawyers.com. Hindmarsh Square, Adelaide, and Ocean Street, Victor Harbour.
Gather round, people, I'll tell you a story.
South Australia has a story to tell, so gather round, Australia. From the hills to the coast, our state is abuzz with a festival of football like you've never seen before. Every team from every state, and we welcome all visitors with open arms. It's all happening here in South Australia, and FIVEAA is your home for Gather Round.
9 News is made in Adelaide for Adelaide.
And has been since 1959.
I'm Kate Collins.
And I'm Brenton Raglas. Join us for 9 News tonight at 6.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
The Cherry Motor 5 offers state-of-the-art driving from 33k drive away. Visit Cherry Glen Osmond.
22 minutes after 8, we've been able to steal Lucy away from the production booth where it's been a hive of activity this morning because, well, frankly, the Gather Round tickets have had people ringing in right throughout the morning. We will tell you when to call. You can do so after 8:30 when we've got doubles to give away to the locker room for the Thursday night clash. We'll tell you how you can win them. There's always something attached to it as well, but that is coming up after 8:30. It's a landslide of votes when we're at the Adelaide Central Market to end last week for The Life of Brian to battle the Easter films. It beat out Ben-Hur. It was a nice genre clash we had. Lucy, good morning. What did you think?
Good morning. My dad was sad I didn't get to watch Ben-Hur. I mean, there's still time later in the year to battle Ben-Hur against something else, but
they're up a charge.
For this weekend, it was The Life of Brian, a satirical genius, typical British wit, a great comedy for the time. It was, of course, 1979. I didn't know this. 39 local authorities in the UK either imposed an outright ban or imposed a 18-plus viewers certificate.
That's a good point. So how new is cancel culture?
1979 in the UK, it appears.
I mean, a lot of the stuff that we always talk about is, world's gone to hell, to use a Trumpism. There is precedent for a lot of it.
Well, you could actually argue that we're at a more liberal phase in history than ever when you think, certainly in terms of literature. Sons and Lovers by D.H. Lawrence was banned on account of the somewhat unusual relationship that he had with his mother. I think Lolita was banned. There's a lot of books that have been banned that now wouldn't. Anyway, Luce, you keep going with your review.
Thank you.
We digress. We always digress.
I thought it was
You make us think.
very smart humour that poked fun at the human condition. It was an hour and a half of that, which I really enjoyed. And it did end with the feel-good sentiment, always look on the bright side of life, as they were all hanging up crucifix and they're all singing there. I thought I felt that ending really lifted the whole movie. I found it really entertaining. I didn't laugh a lot, not because I didn't enjoy it or find it funny. It's just not my typical kind of comedy. I really liked it. I'm going to give it 3.5 stars. I'm a tough marker for comedy.
Has anything got 4 yet?
I think Flying High did.
Oh, wow.
Flying High, I laughed a lot. Look, I really did enjoy The Life of Brian. The scene that I've picked was one that I liked the most. Brian and his mum, in quotas, are on the way to a stoning.
Oh, I hate wearing these beards. Why aren't women allowed to go to stonings, Mum? It's written, that's why. Stone, sir? Nah, they got them up there, lying around on the ground. Oh, not like these, sir. Look at these. Feel the quality of that. That's craftsmanship, sir. All right, we'll have 2 with points and a big flat one. Can I have a flat one, Mum? Shh. Sorry, Dad. Yeah, all right. 2 points, 2 flats and a packet of gravel. Packet of gravel. Should be a good one this afternoon. Yeah? Local boy. Oh, good.
So they've walked past, and it's like when you're at the Eiffel Tower, they try and sell you bracelets. But this guy's offered, first of all, some beards for the women to cover up at the stoning, and then he's offered you can buy your rocks to throw at the local boy getting stoned. So 3.5 stars for The Life of Brian. I really enjoyed it. Easter movie, of course. Next week, I'm going to give a movie preview for next week. I don't know what the movies are yet, but next week is the week of Live Golf. So just to throw another event into the mix.
Yes. This feels like a sort of Tin Cup v Caddyshack type scenario.
I thought it was films made in Saudi Arabia.
You know what? That's a great genre for another Live Golf comp.
What is your favourite Saudi Arabian movie?
But it is going to be golf themed next week. And of course, we are going to be at Live Golf next Friday, broadcasting from Grange Golf Club.
Very exciting.
We're going to wear the golf gear too.
Well, I should hope so.
Plaid decks.
Friday, April 21 is the first day of Live Golf. Goes right through till the 23rd. You can get all your experiences now, livegolf.com. You want to secure your place there while you can. So next Monday, I take all, if anyone wants to suggest some golf movies.
Okay.
I've known Caddyshack is obviously on the list. That's going to be in there somewhere. But if anyone's got some golf movies for next Monday to celebrate all things
Happy
Live
Gilmore.
Golf Adelaide.
Text coming in about Happy Gilmore.
Anything Grange related? It's of course at Grange Golf Course. Anything? I don't know what else you got. Saudi Arabian.
Category. Thank you, Luce.
Live Golf is of course next weekend. We're doing gather round all week, but Live Golf, huge
The
enough
only
event for
movies
the
I can
state.
think of that involve Grange or suburbs near Grange, like Bad Boy Bubby, Port Adelaide. And there's a movie about people with disabilities that's filmed at Escort House.
I'm not familiar with
Tennyson.
that one.
Maybe we'll just stick with the golf-themed
Yeah.
movies to celebrate
Too
Live Golf
obscure.
at Grange.
Thank you, Luce. Let's just check the fuel situation before we go to 5AA News. Find the cheapest fuel in an instant. Download the free MyRA app from your app store today. The United Main North Road Paraka is sitting at $1.72.5. That's pretty good. In fact, that's just about as good as you'll find it. The OTR Brighton Road Glenelg is also $1.72.5. The OTR Belair Road Kingswood's $1.75.5. The cheapest diesel still below $1.80. The ex-convenient Salisbury Road at Salisbury $1.79.5.
Speak with One Solution and they'll tell you cybercrime is not a big business problem, a government problem, or a small enterprise problem. It's everyone's problem. Ransomware, malware, and adware remain the #1 threat. One call to One Solution will put your business in a safe place. It's the smartest, most cost-effective business decision you'll ever make. Get in touch with One Solution, winner of the National Telstra Customer Experience Award. onesolution.net.au.
For nearly 40 years, no one has done certified used cars quite like Steinborner Automotive, with dedicated yards including SA's best range of commercials loaded and ready to go, including SA's only dedicated small car and SUV centre, and SA's only large SUV and 4x4 centre suited for any lifestyle. Steinborner still also has the best range of Commodores, from ZBs to the collectibles. View all late model used vehicles at steinborner.com.au. Steinborner Automotive. It's well worth the trip.
Now, our friends at Bob Burns Blinds are feeling moreish. You can feel peckish. They're feeling moreish.
That's right. For a limited time only, the more curtains and blinds you buy, the more discount you'll receive at Bob Burns Blinds, meaning it's the more the merrier.
We've been out to Bob Burns Blinds, met the whole team, great. Family group, and they are incredibly passionate about what they do.
They've been doing it for years too, and they know their stuff. And they pride themselves on quick installation, high-quality materials, an extensive product range, and first-rate service.
And for a limited time only, the more curtains and blinds you buy, the more discount you'll receive at Bob Burns Blinds.
So now's the time to create those stunning indoor and outdoor living spaces you've always wanted.
Buy more, save more. Book your free measure and quote today at bobburnsblinds.com.au. Conditions apply.
G'day, it's Eddie May here from NRG Solar. People buy a solar system to save money and do the right thing by the environment. So why would you buy a battery? Well, people buy a battery because they want independence from the grid. They don't want to be inconvenienced in the event of a blackout, and of course, protect themselves from future power rises. Now, electricity is going up, so whatever your needs are regarding solar and battery storage, you can rely on NRG Solar for the right solution. Visit nrgsolar.com.au.
Ugh, glasses or contacts today? I don't want either. Trust Laser Vision SA, with SA's longest experience in all laser LASIK and smile procedures. Dr. Frankel has performed more smile procedures than any other surgeon in Australia. So speak to Laser Vision SA about which option is best for you. Near or far-sighted, or have astigmatism. Contact Laser Vision SA today and live your best life without the hassle of glasses or contacts.
9 News is made in Adelaide for Adelaide.
And has been since 1959.
I'm Kate Collins.
And I'm Brenton Raglas. Join us for 9 News tonight at 6.
This is Adelaide's FIVEAA.
Showers developing, a high of 24 with the 8:30 news. I'm Kendall Brettig. 5 people have been killed and another 9 are in hospital after a mass shooting in the US state of Kentucky. Local police say an ex-employee walked into a bank in Louisville and opened fire. Deputy Police Chief Paul Humphreys says the gunman's dead.
Within 3 minutes of being dispatched, officers arrived on scene and encountered the suspect almost immediately, still firing gunshots. Officers exchanged gunshots with that suspect, and ultimately that suspect did die at the scene.
A man's broken his leg while trying to hide from police at Holden Hill overnight. Senior Constable Rebecca Stokes says patrols were called to Judith Avenue after reports of people rifling through cars in the street.
Police searched the area and immediately located and apprehended one suspect, but a second man ran off jumping fences, and police dog Axe and his handler started searching surrounding yards in the area for him. Then a few minutes later, a man was found in a rear yard, and it appears that he had broken his leg while jumping over a fence, so he's been taken to the Royal Adelaide Hospital for treatment.
A 21-year-old and a 24-year-old man have both been arrested for outstanding matters, including breach of bail and warrants. They'll face court today. Police are investigating a suspicious fire at Paralawi this morning. A car parked under the carport was engulfed in flames in Magdalena Crescent around 5:30. The Ford sedan's been completely destroyed. A young girl's recovering in hospital following a vicious dog attack in Logan in Queensland. Reporter Anthea Crothers says the 6-year-old has suffered significant chest, abdominal and shoulder injuries.
She was walking along the street, grabbed by a dog, dragged into a backyard. A man in his 20s, believed to be a relative, he was also bitten in an attack while trying to rescue her, and he was taken to the QE2 hospital in a stable condition.
Treasurer Jim Chalmers is preparing to fly to the US for key economic meetings as he claims his upcoming budget will protect the economy from the worst global forecast in 30 years. More from Ashley Wick.
The Treasurer says global economic uncertainty will influence the May budget. Fresh forecasts from the IMF warn of the weakest period of global economic growth in over 3 decades. High inflation, rising interest rates and the ongoing impacts of the war in Ukraine are some of the current challenges. Treasurer Jim Chalmers will get an up-to-date reading on these when he attends key economic meetings in the US this week. Despite the challenges, he is confident that Australia can weather the shocks.
Australia's strong results in the education sector may be masking students who are struggling. A new report shows the country is performing well when compared to other OECD nations, but it's also found Australian children who are Indigenous, live rurally or are from poorer families are 3 times more likely to fall behind in the classroom. Police vehicles in Northern Ireland have been pelted with petrol bombs as the territory marks 25 years since the Good Friday Peace Agreement. An illegal dissident Republican march has been staged in Londonderry. No one has been injured. King Charles's coronation's only weeks away, the first in 70 years. UK correspondent Adam Gilchrist says it's been revealed he'll travel to Westminster Abbey in an Australian-built horse-drawn coach.
It has these fabulous oil paintings on the panels on the outside. It is extraordinary. It's a moving work of art. It's a killingly heavy thing. It goes unbelievably slowly, and as plenty of headlines have suggested, it is a shake, rattle and royal kind of ride.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
It's nearly tax time. Act now for immediate delivery on Mitsubishi Triton from Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Kendall. Adelaide is confident it can now push the best sides in the league as it prepares to kick off gather round against Carlton on Thursday night. Coach Matthew Nick says belief is building.
We're really confident with the game plan we're working on. We're confident with where the group's at. You know, we've built so much cohesion over the last couple of years, and we've added some real talent to the side in the last few years with Jordan and Isaac.
Audio there thanks to Fox. Meantime, the club has condemned racist comments directed at forward Isaac Rankin on social media. To soccer, the Matildas will be out to end England's 30-game unbeaten streak when they clash in London tonight for a World Cup warm-up match. Coach Tony Gustafsson says it will be one of the toughest challenges they've faced ahead of the World Cup, which begins in July.
Not only have they had this 30 games unbeaten streak against low-ranked opposition, they have played the top-ranked team in the world with the US, they played the second-ranked team in the world, they played the third-ranked team in the world, and still they have these performances and these results.
Meantime, Melbourne City has had a 4-1 win in the A-League against Wellington to move 7 points clear of Adelaide United on top. Well, a thrilling finish in the IPL match between the Royal Challengers Bangalore and the Lucknow Super Giants. Bangalore made 2 for 212 from their 20 overs, and the Super Giants had scores all level with 1 ball to spare.
And he's fumbled. DK hasn't collected the ball, so they get the all-important single. And Lucknow have won the game finally.
And they won it by just the 1 wicket. And finals day has been called on at the Bells Beach Surf Pro. Aussie Ethan Ewing is into the men's quarterfinals after beating former world champion Gabriel Medina. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now to the traffic.
Worried about cheap insurance? Who offers great value cover you won't regret? Amy does. Before buying insurance issued by Amy, read the PDS and TMD at amy.com.au and consider whether it's right for you.
At Woodville, got a smash on Hanson Road near 9th Avenue. Penfield, smash on the north-south motorway near Heasley Road, delays outbound. And Leewood Gardens got a breakdown on the freeway up track, that's just before the tunnels. Busy in a few spots this morning. Jetty Road at Glenelg, also South Road at Mile End. With cameras today, Tymel Road, Elizabeth Park, and Target Hill Road at Salisbury Heights. Get fresh, delicious, walk in a box at OTR. Enjoy a Pad CU for just $9.95 today. Eat in or take away. OTR. Making life easy. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Grab your Macca's Sharon Footy at Footy Festival. Macca's, official partners for the AFL Gather Round.
Showers developing this afternoon, heading for 24. A shower or two tomorrow, 20. Partly cloudy Thursday, 22. And mostly sunny for Friday, 25. At the moment, 16. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Test drive the incredible Cherry Motor 5 today at Cherry Glen Osmond from 33k drive away. Go Cherry.
23 minutes to 9. It's been all about gather round this morning on 5AA Breakfast because thanks to our great partners in Macca's, we've got doubles to give away to the locker room where you can sit and watch the games in style, even the sold-out ones. We've got doubles to give away every hour of the program all this week. We've got another couple to give away in the next 10 minutes. So make sure you stay listening if you want to get along to the Thursday night game, Crows Carlton. Don't despair, though, if you wanted to get along to some of the other games. Tomorrow, it'll be the next game and so on and so forth over the course of the week till we get to the double headers, which the Port game is a feature as well. So today, Crows Carlton in focus.
Just thinking during the ad break, inspired by the outbreak of worrying about what we call people on North Terrace, the new Women's and Children's Hospital, that's not very inclusive, is it? What if you're sort of
good point.
Trans person, lady, man becomes lady, adopts a child,
So it
child
becomes
takes
the persons and children's
Yeah.
hospital.
They haven't thought this, the full ramifications of this haven't been teased out.
I'm willing to go and make the point here and now, David, that what is today's joke will not be a joke at some point in the next couple of years. That is 100% going to be a live conversation, I bet.
Well, you know,
there will be a couple of professional warriors who right now have gone, oh, actually, that's we need to get
They
on
probably
with.
don't listen to our show, do they? And if
You don't reckon
they did, they might not after this.
I mean, hate listening's a thing.
I was thinking about Stan, who wanted to be known as Loretta in The Life of Brian, inspired by Lucy's Review, and that looked like a joke in 1979.
Yeah.
Now it's an actual conversation.
Gather round this week. There are 6 games at Adelaide Oval. Nord Oval has 2 and 1 at the Mount Barker at the Summit Sport and Recreation Park. A lot of work has gone into getting those latter 2 venues up to AFL snuff. I'm going to speak to both the mayors responsible now, the Mayor of Mount Barker. Let's start there. David Leach. Mayor, good morning to you. Can you give us a sense about the size of the job that it's been and continues to be to get the Oval there at Mount Barker up to a level of AFL readiness?
Sure can. We were fortunate that when we designed that new Summit Sports Recreation Park, that we built the Oval to regional AFL standards. So it is probably the best of standard of AFL football, cricket, outside of Adelaide itself. So we had the bones of a very good Oval, and what has had to happen in the past couple of weeks and in the past few days is build sufficient stands, put in drop-in media centres. Pretty soon all of the food and beverage will be coming in on semi-trailers, and a lot of work is going into making sure the actual surface of the Oval is in top nick.
So, David, my understanding is that the biggest crowd ever at the Oval is 1,000. So this weekend it's going to be 8,000, 8 times that.
It sure is, and this Oval was designed as a regional Oval where, you could get grand finals and matches, inter-association matches. We didn't dream 2 years ago when this was being built that it's actually going to be a 4-points AFL round this weekend
They
coming
had
up.
cows
So-
on it a few years ago, didn't it? It was a farm.
Yep, and I went there on the weekend. I was talking to KG on Saturday morning, and he was talking about that too. And I said, well, just 150 metres away, I can see the whole flock of sheep, and there was a herd of Murray Greys chomping on the grass, just right next door. So,
Have you heard anything, either anecdotally, or have you got any hard data on what it's meaning for small businesses, pubs, restaurants and others taking bookings or indeed accommodation things actually in Mount Barker?
Yep, Mount Barker is getting all wired up for this. We're going to have, the businesses are definitely ordering extra schnitzels and extra kegs of beer. We're going to have the city centre. We're going to turn it into a version of Federation Square, so the people that can't get to the match can have the big screens there in the middle of town. Wallace Cinemas are doing $5 for a drink, popcorn and widescreen, which is a really great thing by the Wallace family to do this for the town. So we're pretty excited, and it is going to make a big boost to the economy of not just Mount Barker, but the surrounding 6 or 7 towns that can also provide meals and drinks.
Well, that's it. I mean, you think people will be there'll be a lot of people going to the game who are going to stay the night in the hills, and then, they might go to Uradla for a lunch on Sunday at the pub there, or they might go to Lost in a Forest for some pizzas Saturday night and do some wine tasting the next day. Like, there's just so much you can do, and it's also close up in the hills.
That's right. You can get from the CBD to Match Ground in 35 minutes up the freeway. And then once you're here, we've got just south of us, we've got McLaren Vale, we've got the Barossa just north of us. We've got our own many distilleries, wineries, and 2 really good breweries up here too. So there's lots to do for people when they get up here.
Absolutely. It's the
how exciting!
That's the most exciting part of Gather Round, I think, is the idea of what it might do for a place like Mount Barker. David Leach, the Mayor of Mount Barker, thank you. Let's head to Nord, not too far from us here in the city. Robert Breer is the Mayor of the City of Nord, Payneham and St Peters. Similar to David Leach, Robert Breer, what are the sorts of works that have gone into getting the parade up to scratch? Given, I mean, it's already hosted AFLW games, so is it a lot to get it up to AFL men's standard?
Good morning, Will and Dave. Well, unlike the Mount Barker Oval, a lot of the work had been done probably 3 years ago, where there was about $11 million invested in Norwood Oval, and there was a lot of thought that went into the upgrade of the facilities with the view to bring it up to an AFL standard, particularly given that there was a lot of AFLW games being played there. We saw new lights go in November by Varlo, and anyone who's been to the past 2 Sandford games, Norwood Eagles and Norwood Sturt, would have seen just how fantastic those new lights are. So the Norwood Oval already sort of ticked a number of boxes in that regard, but we did have to bring up to scratch the coaches boxes and the media box and the kiosk under the southern stand or the main stand. So we've spent another $900,000 combined with, co-funded with the SANFL Norwood Football Club and the AFL to bring that up to scratch. So all told, in the last 3 years, Will and Dave, there's been about $16 million pumped into Norwood Oval to make it what we think is the second best stadium in the state after South Australia. So it's ready for AFL football. So we've got, a great 2 days, and we're very privileged to have 2 games at Norwood Oval. So we'll be closing off parade between Osmond Terrace and George Street. There'll be activations in the Memorial Gardens in front of the Oval. A lot of the hotels and pubs have come on board. There's specials galore if you show your match day ticket. Even if you're a Norwood Football Club member, in some places you'll get discounts. So the business community's really come on board, and we're ready for 2 great days of football.
The timing of those 2 matches at the parade is excellent for the Norwood area, particularly for the restaurants and the pubs, isn't it, Mayor? Because you've got the 4:40 game Friday, and then I think it's a 2:50 game on Sunday. So you've got stacks of time. Like, good luck getting a table anywhere for dinner Friday night or Sunday night on the parade.
I couldn't agree more, Dave. I think, maybe people would have looked at those 2 times for, thought, gee, this is a bit of an odd time, but, you have a nice, long, relaxing lunch on the Friday, and then you get out of the game at 7:30, plenty of time for a meal and drink, and likewise on the Sunday, you can have a long lunch again, and you're out of the ground at 5:30, and again, same thing. So we think it hospitality-wise, it really is the perfect time to host 2 games at Norwood Oval. And Friday night, most of the game will be under lights, and I suspect the second half of the Sunday game will be too, to add to the atmosphere, and people can get to see, the standard of the lights there, and just a great atmosphere at a traditional suburban ground in Adelaide.
Absolutely. Good stuff. Robert Breer, the Mayor of Norwood, Payneham and St Peters, and David Leach, Mayor of Mount Barker. Tell you what, Norwood Oval was looking pretty good Thursday night, particularly the scoreboard at the end when it read Sturt 106, Norwood 53.
14 minutes to 9. We've got some more Gather Round tickets to give away right here and now. All thanks to Macca's, official partners of the AFL Gather Round. You can kick your way down to the Footy Festival to grab your Macca's share in footy. I'm loving it. We've got doubles to give away Thursday night to the locker room. You need to call us right now. We thought we'd do a musical one. We had a music story earlier, but it was a sad one because it was a death as part of the ABBA family. Their a long time guitarist passed away after a short battle with cancer, Lassie Wallander. But we wanted to ask you this morning to tell us a song that describes where your team is at. Crows and Carlton fans can be part of this because it's for the Thursday night game again. Thursday night, our final couple of Thursday night double passes to give away to the locker
Only
room
for today,
too.
though. We got more tomorrow?
But not for the Thursday night game.
No, but for other games.
Exactly right. 8223 0055. Get calling right now. Tell us the song that describes where your team is at. Right here and now. Crows fans, what's the song that describes where you're at? Carlton fans, what's the song that describes where you are at? 8223 0055. We'll get some of your answers and give away those tickets in just a few moments' time. Let's check traffic first, though. Thanks to the great people at Fairmont. Build with Fairmont now and receive luxury upgrades at no extra cost. Visit fairmonthomes.com.au.
At Woodville, got a smash on Hanson Road near 9th Avenue. Penfield, smash there too on the north-south motorway near Hislop Road, delays outbound. While Leeward Gardens got a breakdown on the freeway up track just before the tunnels. Busy in a few spots, including South Road at Mile End, also Churchill Road at Cormac Road. And look out for cameras today, Eastern Parade, Gilman and Hanson Road at Elizabeth Downs. Keanu Reeves returns in the biggest action blockbuster of the year, John Wick Chapter 4. Don't miss the film everyone's talking about. John Wick Chapter 4, only in cinemas now. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
On 5AA mornings, the state government opened submissions on legalising private e-scooters and is asking for your opinion. How fast should they go? How big should they be? And where should they be ridden? And Parliament goes gender neutral. They're two of the topics today. I'm Matthew Pantelis. Join me from 9.
An Adelaide company has introduced a new range of continence products. Oh. They're called Call Me and they'll keep you drier.
Drier?
Yeah.
Drier than an argument between two teetotalers.
Drier.
Oh, so dry the cows are producing powdered milk?
Even drier.
Wow, that's dry.
And if you're on a home care package or an NDIS participant, Call Me will give you a free trial pack worth up to $100.
Wow.
Just go to callme.com.au.
Hi, Katie Bridges here, Market Lead at 5AA. The Vinnie's CEO Sleepout is back, June 22nd at the home of tennis in SA, The Drive. 2023 will mark my third time sleeping out. I keep coming back to the Vinnie's CEO Sleepout because everyone deserves a safe place to call home, and I know the funds we raise are in good hands with Vinnie's. If you're a business or community leader who cares about our community like I do, don't drop the ball. Sign up now at ceosleepout.org.au.
Are you interested in a career as a plumber? Or perhaps your child is starting to explore career opportunities in the building industry? Well, make sure you get in contact with the experienced team at the Master Plumbers Association.
The Master Plumbers Association is the premier provider of an industry-backed group training scheme that employs apprentices, hosts them out to the industry and supports them through their entire career. The Master Plumbers Association, they're always looking for talented apprenticeship candidates.
I'm very excited to talk about them, I'm sorry. It's a diverse industry with endless opportunities working in the domestic, commercial and industrial sectors. After your apprenticeship and you have a full licence, you could end up as a leading hand, a site supervisor, a project manager, or even start your own business.
That's right, no matter where you want to go, Master Plumbers Association will give you the confidence, support and training to get there. Search Master Plumbers SA and get in contact with the team today.
G'day, it's Eddie May from NRG Solar. More and more South Australians are taking control of their energy bills with solar and battery storage. In fact, Australians are taking up battery storage in record numbers because they're sick of rising power bills and being locked into a system where someone else calls the shots. The other huge bonus of going with NRG Solar and battery storage is that you'll be protected from blackouts with an uninterrupted power supply. Take control. Visit nrgsolar.com.au.
9 News is made in Adelaide for Adelaide.
And has been since 1959.
I'm Kate Collins.
And I'm Brenton Raglas. Join us for 9 News tonight at 6.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
The Cherry Motor 5 offers state-of-the-art driving from 33k drive away. Visit Cherry Glen Osmond.
Eight minutes to 9 behind closed doors in a moment, but first we have tickets to give away to the Thursday night Gather Round fixture, Carlton Adelaide, all thanks to the great people at Macca's making Gather Round happen. Kick your way down to the Footy Festival to grab your Macca's share and footy. I'm loving it. Crows and Carlton fans, we want you to tell us the song that you think best describes where your club is at right at this moment.
You can sing it too if you want.
Well, absolutely. Both clubs are going okay. I think there might be some fairly optimistic tunes that we hear here. Dave in Moana, good morning.
Morning. How are you, gents?
Good, thanks, Dave.
Up where we belong for the Mighty Blues.
Up where we belong,
Carlton.
finally.
Yeah.
Carlton man, thank
10
you,
year
Dave.
rebuild over.
Has that only been 10?
No, it's been more than 10.
Christine in Prospect, good morning.
Good morning. It'd have to be Constant Craving by KD Lang.
For which side, Christine?
Crows.
Thank you,
Good
Christine. Dolly in Victor Harbour, good morning.
Hello, Dolly.
Good morning.
What's yours, Dolly?
Well, it's Moving On Up by M People for Carlton.
Yes.
Yeah, well,
yes.
that's been.
Nice.
Can't move up much further at the moment. Tony in Lockleys, what's your song?
It'd be Long Way to the Top. So it'd be a long way to the top before we win a final.
For who, the Crows or Carlton?
I think that's the Crows.
Crows, mate.
Yeah, all right,
Thank
good
you,
stuff.
Tony.
James
James
Scott.
James in Collinswood, what's your club and what's the song?
I've got the Crows, boys, and I've got a great song from Bob Dylan and Graham Bonnet cover. Can you bear with me while I sing one verse of this?
Yeah.
And I ask your listeners to forgive the voice. Yonder stands your orphan with his gun, crying like a fire in the sun. Look out, baby, the crows are coming through, and it's all over now, baby blue.
Oh, James. That
was good.
Works for all clubs,
It
really.
does.
Thank
clever.
you. That was very, very good. Bonus points for singing. Tracy in Fairview Park, your club and your song.
Shallow and the Crows.
Shallow from...
Yeah, I'm gonna sing it for you.
All right, let's hear it.
Do it.
I'm up the deep end, watching I'm diving. I wanna see it gather round.
Hey, that's
Tracy,
excellent.
that was superb.
Oh, look, I think we've got a very, very clear.
That's the easiest to judge
winner.
whenever.
So Tracy's definitely in
Oh
it.
my goodness!
Look,
How about the pipes?
The pipes were calling. That was sensational. And look, I think James, for the cleverness of It's All Over Now, Baby Blue as well. James and Tracy,
Okay.
and for having the extra, adding a
You
bit
sing.
of mayo, on. It's like getting the extra pickle on the quarter pounder. I mean, the quarter pounder is good in its natural form, but the extra pickle just kicks it into a whole new sphere. But no, James and Tracy, you are the winners, and listen in every day, every hour this week, because we're the only place that will give you tickets to every game.
Absolutely. All thanks to the great people at Macca's, official partners of the AFL Gather Round. Kick your way down to the Footy Festival to grab your Macca's share in footy. I'm loving it. It's time to go behind closed doors. Thanks to Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, Interstate Freight Distribution, Warehousing and local Adelaide couriers. Call Aussie Fast 13 13 64.
And when we get behind closed 1395, Adelaide's 5AA. This is Brad Aldridge.
Yeah, welcome back to 5AA Breakfast on this Easter Monday. Brad Aldridge with you, and I've been up since 4 o'clock. I tell you, I'm not used to it. Now I'm starting to seriously not make sense. We'll get over that and we'll move on to something else. Have you got a ghost in your house? We're going to find out all about that. Ghosts and things that are dead that used to be alive with Alison Oborn from the award-winning SA Tourism Hall of Famer Adelaide Haunted Horizons. Alison, how are you?
Very well, Brad. How are you?
Oh, really good, Alison. It's good to see you. And I can't wait to hear all about your ghosty stories. And since I mentioned you were coming in, about so many emails and texts from people telling us about their ghostly things going on, how many ghosts they've got in their houses. And, really, you've got to say, as long as we keep doing the segment, people keep believing there's ghosts because we're legitimising it and doing it on the radio. You know, it's...
Well, a lot of people do have spirits in their houses but don't know quite how to deal with them.
No, that's right, isn't it? A lot of people want to come on and talk about their ghosts, so we'll get to that. And you've got to say, too, the fact that you won so many awards and you're in the Tourism Hall of Fame. And you've got to say, for a haunted tours business that has no actual proof the ghosts are even real, that's pretty impressive, really, isn't it?
Well, absolutely. Just go to the website, AdelaideHauntedHorizons.com.au, and we have a podcast now called The Haunted Horizons Ghostcast.
Oh, great. No worries. That'll keep the interest up. And why not? People love being scared. And Jennifer's called in to tell us about her ghost that no one will be able to prove exists. How are you, Jennifer?
Oh, g'day, Brad and Alison.
Hello.
What's your ghosty story, Jennifer?
Oh, well, Alison, I wonder if you can help me. I'm sure I have a ghost in my house, and I have to sleep with the light on now. But when I turn the light off in the morning, a strange white shadow is left in my room. It's kind of blurry white shadow across the room.
Yeah, sounds to me like you need a vitrectomy, Jennifer.
What? Brad?
Get your eyes tested. You might have a cataract there.
Oh.
Well, look, it could be someone that used to live there and is back for a visit, that's all.
Oh, yes. Well, there were other people that used to live here before me, so, yeah.
Well, there you are, you see.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Oh, that is amazing. Alison, always great to have you in, and next time we'll make sure Lizzie McCaskill's here and you two can get together and have a ghostly reunion.
Oh, that would be lovely.
Yeah, Lizzie's great too. Reckons she can talk to dead people and can't predict lotto numbers to save herself.
2 minutes to 9. This Friday on the Sports Show, Rowie and Timmy G will be taking live bids for the SA Police Legacy Footy Auction. You and 17 mates can experience your own VIP experience in a corporate box at any AFL game of your choice, except showdowns, valued at over $7,000. All funds raised will support SA Police Legacy, providing financial and social support and benefits to serving and retired South Australian police officers and their families.
Very important cause. And Yuri, mate, if you're listening, the D's, everyone knows Yuri. He broke his 5AA coffee mug. He sent me a note pleading, can we send him a new one? Don't worry, I'll talk to Sam and we will get that sorted out for you, Yuri.
Fantastic. 2 minutes to 9. Matthew Pantelis is coming up. Remember, we've got tickets every hour on the program next week and all this week for Gather Round. So if you want to gather along and be part of it, make sure you're listening from 6.
Car, bus or truck window smashed, cracked, scratched or chipped? Call Complete Windscreens. For over 40 years, this family-owned SA company have given